All righty. Got it right here on this laptop and right here in front of me. All righty. Got it buttons. I just didn't do any spotlighting. They just left the cameras open and free for open discussion and conversation for us all. And we're live also here on Instagram. Just let me get started and say namaste, 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 Islam, Islam, Islam. I am Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey here in Morocco at northwest of Maxim, and I'm asking how are you? I am here again, guys, for this Happy Holy Venus degree. Happy Holy Venus degree to you all. And I am here. I'm just going to let whoever wants to speak up, you can speak up and introduce yourself. But we already know I'm here with my beloved brother, first and foremost, at home, well pleased, and he is
Islam. I am Brother R. Bey, all rights reserved.
Yeah. God, brother.
Yeah.
And then got
Paragon Debo.
Bro, introduce yourself, man.
Islam, I am Brother Shiningly Ill, all is well. But you also know my bro likes to call me
Braveheart. That's how we doing it today, man. I don't know. Do we have any special? If you want to, bro. Remember, it's nothing. I ain't trying to put nobody on the spot in any way, shape, or form. But if it's just us here, That's great. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? Let's go keep it a bow wow. Keep it a thou wow. We can keep going. Anybody want to speak up? It's an open discussion. Anybody want to speak up? You see what I'm saying? What'd you say there, though, Brother Sean?
I think bro fell out.
Oh, hey, if he comes back in, he comes back in, man. I ain't really tripping, man. But we're gonna do what we do. Actually, there are an invocation in and 2 letters to be read in every meeting, guys, as you know that we do here. Even for you guys here on Instagram, we're going to give our supreme honors, as always, Prophet Noble Drali, for bringing back to us the reminder pertaining to our nationality and our birthrights. This is why we do what we do, is why we do what we do here on Impromptu Improv. As you guys will know, once we finish here on Instagram, we'll continue on the YouTube, which now we're simultaneously streaming. All righty. So with that being said, guys, I guess I am doing the invocation in. Brother Aura said he's doing the first letter to be read in every meeting. So, Brother Sean, does that mean you want to do the last letter to be read in every meeting, or is that back on me?
You know.
All right, you'll do the second one. All right, cool. So let me bring that up. Let me actually share the screen here for YouTube and do a screen share, pardon me. And let's see. Find the screen share and hit the screen, right? And this is where I'm going to starteth the broadcasteth on that. All righty. And we can go in peace and love to you, Brother Sleeve, Islam. All right. Brother Mahfouz, Islam. So we're going to do our invocation in, turn to more Shamarican prayer. All right. That's what we're going to do. Let me bring that up for you all. The Divine Constitution and Bylaws for the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Divine National Movement overall. I know this particular document says Divine Constitution of Moorish America. I don't know who designed this technically. However, I know the substance between the different ones that I've seen presented. And at the end of the day, I also have what is actually in administrative functions, and it says for the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. So I do get that. However, what I'm saying is we're going to get to the substance that is here, where we see Prophet Noble Drali standing handsomely standing due guard. And we have right here where he's standing on his square, he's standing upon our invocation in, which we are calling, and it says here, Moorish American prayer. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand, right? And I'm going to face directional east, right? To symbolize going internal, all right? Because east means within, right? So just going internal, and what we're going to do here, we're going to have all 5 appendages on the left hand extended, and just the first 2, the index in the middle, extended on the right hand, all righty? That's exactly what we are doing here, all right? And we're going to face east, and we can repeat after me doing the Moorish American prayer. You can either repeat aloud or in your heart. Either one, doesn't matter. Islam. Islam. We're standing how Prophet Noble Ali's feet are standing there. All right, firmly on square. All righty, Allah the Father of the universe.
Allah the Father,
Father of love.
Father of love,
Truth.
truth,
Peace.
peace,
Freedom.
freedom,
And justice.
and justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector,
My guide.
my guide,
And my salvation.
and
and
my
my
salvation.
By night.
by night
And by day.
and by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet,
Noble Drew Ali.
Noble Drew Ali.
Ameen. Islam, man. This is excellent. I am ready to go in on this. Let me bring up the first letter to be read in every meeting. I know Brother R said he's going to read that. And the second letter to be read in every meeting is going to be Brother Sean Alim. L. So let me double click here. Boom, shakalaka. Bring me to the administrative functions, right? Moorish Holy Temple of Science administrative functions. All right. The following is a letter written by Prophet Noble Ali on the 18th day of January, 1928, Anno Domini. He commanded that it be read before every meeting. That's page 84. So we're here on page 85, where we yield the floor to our beloved brother in whom Allah. Please, Brother R. Muabbah Bey, Islam.
Islam, bro. Thank you for the intro. Administrative function, Moorish Science Temple of America, home office, 3603 Indiana Avenue. Noble Drew Ali, founder, Chicago, Illinois, January 18, 1929. To be proclaimed in every meeting. Dear brother, Islam, I'm glad to know that I have few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim it was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as an American citizen, they are working every scheme they can to disqualify me so they themselves may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that contribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that pay their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it bad. Never before have I needed finance as badly as I do at present, that I may shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. That's in reference to the discord that's facing the nation comes through jealousy. The nation of the world will not recognize the movement without me, the prophet, being the head. It has been proven by my work in which I have performed in the last few months, because I was at the governor's inauguration to represent the Moorish Divine and National Movement, and I will be at the inauguration of President Hoover for the same cause. Noble Drew Ali.
Islam. And for the second letter to be read in every meeting from the Moorish literature, from the excerpts from Moorish Guide newspaper. And you see on page 12, we have Prophet Noble Drew Ali again, handsomely standing on the square, standing due guard. All righty. And here on page 13 in the Moorish literature, volume 1 about the prophet. I yield the floor to my beloved brother, our beloved brother, please, Brother Sean Ali, now Islam.
Islam. Divine warning by the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Prophet warns all Muslim governors ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the prophet, toward the temple, or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive the reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their parts in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. By order of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Islam.
Islam, excelente, excelente. Come on back here, man. Get this thing on done. Put that screen around, right? All right. So, guys, those of you that are here on the Instagram, you can come on over to the YouTube, guys. We're going to continue to go in on our impromptu improv. Like, seriously, like, are you accepting falsehood as true? Like, are you accepting falsehood? Is falsehood acceptable? Is it acceptable? Is it going to be accepted as truth? We're not sure there. However, I know we're not. I know what I'm sure of is that it's not cool. You know what I mean? Like, at all. However, I know what we're going to go in on. I have a few things I want to go in on. I was looking up some things, some Maryland codes. I just wanted to see some things about fishing and fisheries and the licensing and licenses and things like that. So I wanted to take a look at that and go over a few definitions. And I don't even think it's going to be a really long live. We just wanted to really hit on some points and just see what's really good. You know what I mean? So with that being said, let me say to you all here on Instagram, namaste, 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 Islam, 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 peace and love. All right, you got that one completed there, guys. And let's give you guys our undivided attention here on the YouTube, right? Have some fun there. Actually, I'm going to share this on out also. I'm going to YouTube. However, any questions? I know Brother Aura had, maybe it'll be good for us to go over that first. I know Brother Aura, you had Black's Law Dictionary 4th edition you earlier with screen appearance. And I just think that it would be a good, line for us to kind of run with, honestly. You know what I mean?
Indeed. Give me just a second.
Islam.
There's a screen share. And there we have it. All right. So I brought this up because we were talking about defendant and defendant being someone that they have jurisdiction over.
Correct.
With regard to these, state municipal tribunals. So the word appearance, which most people think they have to appear. I got to appear in court. Okay. Well, the basic word appearance with no other adjectives, to describe the type of appearance in general, an appearance in practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is a coming into court as party to a suit, whether as plaintiff or defendant. That's Stevens versus Ringling. And then it goes on. The formal proceeding by which a defendant submits himself to the jurisdiction of the court. That's Flint versus Comley. So that's letting you know right now that when you make an appearance, you're participating in the formal proceeding by which you, as party to the suit, right, or as defendant, submit yourself to the jurisdiction of the court. So
you're only a defendant when you submit your appearing, actually, because you're saying I'm in the state. Okay.
Exactly. Precisely. And here it goes on to say the voluntary submission you voluntarily submit to the jurisdiction's court, which means what? There's a chance that you might not be under the jurisdiction of the court until you submit. So why are certain people trying to put it out through different media sources that, you know, if you use the word jurisdiction or say something of that matter, that you might be a quote unquote sovereign citizen, or you might be somebody who thinks the law doesn't apply to you, as if this is not an actual legal term that they deal with every day. These courts are courts of limited jurisdiction. If their jurisdiction is limited, it would be a wise question to ask, who is it limited to? Who is not subject to that jurisdiction? Right?
Islam. Correct.
Appearance. All right. So it says appearance is the act of appearing, coming, or being in sight, becoming visible or clear to apprehension of the mind, of being known as subject of observation or comprehension, or as a thing proved of being obvious or manifest. That's speaking really in general right now. The other one was in practice, right? It said in practice. And let's see what else we got. Appearance anciently. Going back to that state of mind. Appearance anciently meant an actual coming into court, either in person or by attorney. Appearance may be made by the party in person or by his agent. But in criminal cases, the personal appearance of the accused in court is often necessary. An appearance may be either general or special.
General or special?
The former, general, is a simple and unqualified or unrestricted submission to the jurisdiction of the court. Unqualified or unrestricted submission to the jurisdiction of the court.
Unqualified. Unqualified.
Interesting, right?
Hold on, where's that line at? Let me see where that line is.
It's the second line. An appearance may be either general or special. The former, general, right, is a simple and unqualified or unrestricted submission to the jurisdiction of the court.
That's voluntary. That's voluntary. That's
exactly.
It's voluntary. Okay, continue.
Exactly. And if you look up personam jurisdiction, it tells you that one of the ways for them to gain in personam jurisdiction is for you to show up and voluntarily submit to the jurisdiction of the court. So they're basically saying, for them to get personal jurisdiction, you have to make a general appearance.
Correct.
Okay. Then it says the latter, right, in regards to special appearance, the latter, a submission to the jurisdiction for some specific purpose only, not for all the purposes of the suit. So yeah, I'll submit myself to the jurisdiction of the court just so that you could talk to me and prove to me. I give you the opportunity to prove to me how you have jurisdiction. Oh, you don't have jurisdiction? Okay, special appearance over.
Flat out.
So I make my special appearances via paper writs. I'm not appearing physically. I'll send something in. You don't respond. I'm filing a claim against you because you're in violation. See what else it says. A special appearance is for the purpose of testing the sufficiency of service or the jurisdiction of the court. A general appearance is made where the defendant waives defects of service and submits to the jurisdiction. So as soon as you make a general appearance, that first appearance, you don't say anything about anything. It is presumed you have waived any defects in service. It is presumed you have waived any defects in jurisdiction. They're going to proceed. There's nothing else to talk about. Now, I know, because I've been through it, sometimes you show up and challenge the jurisdiction and they proceed anyways as if you did waive it, because they're in the business of railroading people in a racket, right?
Correct.
An appearance may also be either compulsory or voluntary. The former, where it is compelled by process served on the party. The latter, where it is entered by his own will or consent, without the service of process, though process may be outstanding. It is said to be optional when entered by a person who intervenes in an action to protect his own interests. Though not joined as a party, it occurs in chancery practice, especially in England. Conditional. When coupled with conditions as to its becoming or being taken as a general appearance. Gratis, when made by a party to the action, but before the service of any process or legal notice to appear. De beni esse, right? When made provisionally or to remain good only upon a future contingency, or when designed to permit a party to a proceeding to refuse to submit his person to the jurisdiction of the court unless it is finally determined that he has forever waived that right. And that's Farmers Trust Company versus Alexander. Going on, it says subsequent when made by a defendant after an appearance has already been entered for him by the plaintiff. Wait, what? When subsequent when made by a defendant after an appearance has already been entered for him by the plaintiff. Corporal, when the person is physically present in court.
So in other words, I guess a subsequent appearance is made by the defendant after an appearance has been entered for him by the plaintiff, and then a corporal appearance is when the person is physically present, right? And constitutes an appearance, quote unquote.
Yeah, that's why, because you're answering a complaint when you really shouldn't be talking. If you answer a complaint, what's happening is you're actually discussing the subject matter. And we know that the three main issues of law is what? It's status, jurisdiction, adjudication. So it's like if you're talking the subject matter of the complaint, it sounds like you skipped over status and jurisdiction and moved straight to adjudication, because they can't talk about subject matter until status and jurisdiction is proper.
Correct.
That's why I agree that an answer would constitute an appearance. But then we also have to qualify what an answer is, right? But Islam, I yield on that point.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here sharing to the jurisprudence gem. You know what I mean? Let them know we live now, beloveds. Enjoy studies, right? So, you know, we've been focused on, and we're going to keep focusing on, one, that any being in a uniform or anything of that sort, they have jurisdiction over you. Your mindset is what's allowing people that have land conveyances with shiny lights on them that have a metal, reflector rotating inside of it to make it seem like they have some authority by the sight of the lights and the sound of the siren, when that could be furthest from the truth. What is actually being said is you're being signaled. This is what I think. You're being signaled to assist them. And the best way to assist them is when you're ran off the road by an emergency vehicle to call 911 to assist them with that emergency, right? Because again, conveyance within which you're traveling isn't on fire. You don't for them and you didn't call them. So the only other thing could be is there's like a bruised jelly at a convenience store somewhere, and he just really needs your help in saving all the jelly so he can enjoy that donut. I mean, that's the only way I can really see it. Right. Because anything else is a want of jurisdiction, which is war. However, what's being counted on is that the people are so docile and scared that they won't challenge someone with, those lights and that siren. So now people are actually participating in bureaucratized slavery. This is not me spitting this is a belief in this, how I feel, power to the people. No, that's no. We're gonna speak truth and speak truth alone. What you're dealing with actually is the fact that most people have to be used to challenging these people that run them off the road, or say you ran a stop sign, you ran a red light, you were doing 55 in the 54, like stuff like that. You have to know immediately, okay, so what do? Okay, we file a risk management claim, notice of damages. Okay, it's on the city level, for example. If it's Baltimore City, cool. On the city level, we already know there's no contract with Baltimore City Police in any way, shape, or form. There's no contract called city mayor or whatever, who is the commander in chief when it comes to police powers near the Baltimore City Corporation, right? On the county level, it would be the sheriff or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Well, there's a county executive who would really have to take, between the county executive and the comptroller, that would be the commander in chief of that, the so-called policing, but it would probably be the sheriff, because the sheriff is an elected official, so to speak. You see what I'm saying? And, the mayor's an elected official. Cool. Well, there's some overseeing of those that are deputized under them that must be ended by the people. You need to comprehend who the sheriff and who the police chief and who's deputized under them. These said deputy sheriffs and other policy enforcers that call themselves police officers. An officer is someone who was elected into office. They didn't fill out an application to go to cadet school. All righty, so they're not officers. So already in your mind, you must not practice lying by giving people title that have not that title.
Yep. And I'm pretty sure if we pull up, I think it's either officer or employee in Black's Law Dictionary, or I possibly can't remember exactly where I seen this, but I'm pretty sure it's in the law dictionary. It will tell you that an officer is distinguished from an employee, or an employee is distinguished from an officer. They're not the same at all. They can't even be the same.
Period. So I'm thinking the best thing to do, like I have always seen since declaring and proclaiming my nationality 8 years ago, where I'm taking nationality and birthright, despite the fact it was introduced to me when I was 8 years old. Now I have the mindset pertaining to be major minded, or what people will call the maturity age. I'm at the majority age where I can actually think, all righty, for myself, and comprehend that no one, and I mean no one in any form of uniform of any way, shape, or form, you're not supposed to be talking to me. I don't have a contract or an oath of office. We're supposed to be talking. And if I did call on you, if ever I had to, which I doubt, because I'm not attracting shit to my life where I have to call on policy enforcers. You see what I'm saying? So we live a lifestyle where all we have to do is, be ourselves. And when we present ourselves and someone makes a mistake, we know accordingly what to do. Here's an example of a mistake. Woo! Whoop, whoop. Pull over, and you pull over. And the first thing you need to do, as soon as you see them lights, before you even go, damn, that the police behind me, what the fuck? You need to actually be 911. That's what you need to be doing. You even pull over, 911, and connect it to the dispatch that's closest to the location. You're on the highway, you need to be checking the mile markers. Yes, I'm on this interstate at mile markers, between mile markers such and such and such and such, or at mile markers such and such. Or yes, I'm near this city corporation at the corner of this street and that street, or this road and that avenue.
Right.
So that we're clear that event that we immediately, there's an emergency. You don't know what it is. And for them to come to you and go, license and registration. You know why I pulled you over? Because you were tying your shoes while eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And you ain't supposed to be having peanut butter like that on your sandwich all the way. Like, that's kind of what it sounds like. So now they found something frivolous to make you think they can write. They got them in 3 parts now, all in one. It's a 3-in-1. It's a triplex. First, it's a complaint. Then it says citation on it, and then it says summons. And so that means that you have policy enforcers out here committing treason because they have on a shiny piece of metal on their chest, possibly a Glock 40 on their hip that has 17 shots in the fucking clip. Oh, just because they had that, that means that you now must capitulate and accept them forcing you into unconscionable contracting. No. That means what you need to do is, first, like I said, call 911. That's your first line of defense. Call 911. You're going to have something on. And they're going to be like, did you call 911 on me? Well, yeah, because you seem to have an emergency and I'm not sure you pulled me over. Well, you were doing 55 into 54. What'd you say, bro?
A good question to ask is, whose safety is more important, the cops or the people's? Because it seems like their safety is more important than the people's, which doesn't make sense because they wouldn't have their job if it wasn't for the people. And they always say that, you know, their guns and stuff is for their safety. And if they see you with a gun, they got to disarm you, take the bullets out, you know, hold your stuff, your private property, hold it for their safety. So how come you don't get to disarm them for your safety?
I mean, it seems like you should be able to disarm them for your safety because
like, can everybody put their guns on the table? You know what I'm saying? Like, you put the gun down. You put the gun down. I mean, fight like a man.
Yeah. I mean, that makes absolute fucking sense. Like, I can't think of that any other fucking way. That makes absolute fucking sense. So I'm just really saying, what'd you say?
It seems like their safety is being treated as how you say it, their safety is being treated as a priority over the people's safety when they're supposed to, at the end of the day, be they're supposed to be operating according to their oath, and their oath is to support that Constitution. And I know that there's this argument that they don't have a right to protect the people that was stated in a case law or whatever. However, they have a duty to support that Constitution, and the people's rights are protected within that Constitution. So if you're protecting, supporting, and upholding that Constitution, you're protecting, supporting, and upholding the people's rights that are in those Bill of Rights, and those not enumerated. Excuse me, those not mentioned or prohibited as well.
I mean, so now that just goes to show that just off of us having a conversation, we're doing the screen share, and I'm about to screen share so that we can look at a few things, right? Because something was brought to my attention about fishing near the Maryland State Republic. And I mean, I just want to go over the couple of things that we found out about licenses. And it just let me know, it's just like, well, I know license denotes permission. Like, okay, you need this permission to do something that you wouldn't have been able to do unless you got this permission. And it's like, who says that I wouldn't be able to do it? According to who thinking?
All licenses are commercial in nature too.
Period.
I can't think of any license to do a thing that is not commercial. Driver's licenses for commercial drivers. Fish, you'll see. You guys will see right now. I mean,
that's why. No, you're right. You're exactly correct, man. That's why I'm just like, according to who's thinking. You know what I'm saying? Because at that point now, what we're thinking about or what we're saying is who is making that be the case? Who is actually saying this is what you have to do, and if you don't do it, then this is the problem. You see what I'm saying? And I mean, what do you do? Do you go, oh, I'm sorry, let me go and do this and satisfy this? Like, but hold up. What if you were blamed for something by these people whom you have no fucking contract with? You're not a member of their organization. You're not a fraternal order of police like them. So since that's the case, you're not frat, you're not a part of their shit. Why did they feel the need to act as if they're indicating you like already, like you're under indictment already? Yeah. To say, hey, you are moving in a certain way that displeases that which I should be policing. Oh, you're doing something that I'm supposed to be policing. So now let me force you into the thinking that you're with inside some jurisdiction that you belong not to, actually. But now, go ahead.
Oh, sorry to cut your wisdom, brother. I was going to say, think about this. Complying with, them saying, you got to comply with this and get this license, or you got to comply with that and do that according to this statute. Due to the Federal Reserve System being in place, compliance with their statutes is accepting falsehood as truth, because compliance with their statutes, compliance with their licensing requirements is participating in your own enslavement. Because how are you going to get a license? Don't you have to, quote unquote, pay for that license? Oh, interesting. What's the official money of the United States? Isn't it gold and silver coin according to the Constitution? Oh, didn't they get rid of the gold and silver coin? Oh, didn't they replace it with the Federal Reserve System? Oh, only federal agents can use Federal Reserve notes? Oh, they're asking for Federal Reserve notes in order to get these licenses? Any compliance with any one of their statutes requires you to participate or fund your own enslavement.
So then if getting a license is permission, then as soon as you think about getting permission, you have now subjected your energy to receive all of the slavery amenities.
Everything that comes with being a slave.
Because now you have accepted in your own mind's energy that you need to ask permission for something that you inherently have being a birthright, provided you encroach not upon someone else's right to do the same, which means that even these beings who go, hey, you're fishing here, you shouldn't be fishing here unless you have a license. Now, the first license I looked up when we was looking at this thing, when we was looking to just check out some things, I came across this first in the article for insurance, right? For, this is subsection 1-101, and I'm trusting this is Article 81 to a certain extent, right? Where it says, A, in this article, the following words have the meanings indicated. Okay, well, there's an indictment right there, right? It's an indictment statement. B, administration, quote unquote, means the Maryland Insurance Administration. Okay, so they're administering some type of insurance. What kind of insurance? Well, the adjective would be Maryland here because it's Maryland insurance. But then really the double adjective, we're talking about what kind of administration. So it's the Maryland Insurance Administration. So that's doubly modifying what kind of administration is occurring here. Now, as you can clearly see on page 8, what is a person according to this, article on insurance, right? Since we're talking insurance, well, person, quote unquote, means an individual. Now we already know that an individual is something that's not a human being.
Right.
Technically, this is an office.
In the sense of a human being in law, it means one who's a citizen of the United States, or an alien lawfully admitted for permanent residency, and one of those two that owes a debt to the United States.
Period. And you can find individual and defined in one area in the United States Code is 5 USC 5.2a, where it'll say what an individual is. Person, quote unquote, means an individual, receiver, trustee, guardian, personal representative, fiduciary, representative of any partnership, firm, association, corporation, or other entity. So that's a person. Okay, cool. All right. What are we saying though about fishing though? Right? That's what I want to know. However, I want to know what a state, what state is. So what I'm saying when it comes to state, I see what person is. Now I'm seeing what state is. Sounds like a state can be a person based on that, because it said entity. So M, except as otherwise expressly provided in this article, state, quote unquote, means one, a state. Okay, so that means your mindset. A status. Okay, well, let me tell you what my status is. My status is free white person, first of all. Second of all, my status is also non-obligatory. I'm not obligated to respond to any Maryland state codes, any state's codes, no Baltimore ordinances or municipal codes, no county, codes of any kind, no state statutes. And even when it comes to federal level, I have no oath of office that says I'm doing foreign trade in a foreign trade zone on federal land within a federal land area, which would only be the outline of the building upon which that federal area sits, because only the federal area is the actual land area, which is what the building is sitting in.
Places purchased.
This rectangle. What'd you say?
Places purchased.
They carved out this rectangle, and that rectangle the building sits on, that's it. That's the federal area. That's the place purchased, which means you're still dealing with commerce, dealing with foreign commerce. U.S. Corporation is foreign to America. That's why it's even called United States of America, which means away from. Of is away from. United States away from America. Right.
It should have just been right there. It should have just been United States America.
Yeah, but if it's of America, it's like, it's foreign. Because it's away from America. How away from? How far is it? Well, that's just a thought.
Which means it's not America. The United States is not America, because the United States is of America. That's like saying you are of your mother. So that means you're not your mother, but you are of your mother, right?
Mm-hmm. You're away from her. You descended from her. So
if I say that this is the house of Aram Bey, I'm not the house. The house is not me. Of course.
Correct. And if the house be away from you.
And if it's of what comes after of, I would say in certain circumstances signifies ownership. So that means the United States belong to America. So who's America?
I see it.
Who's America? We're the Americans.
You there?
You talking to me?
Yeah, I was saying, if you're still there. Peace along to our beloved brother in whom we're well pleased, the exalted Cyclops, Brother President Corey Bey.
Dun, 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 dun.
And then Mother Sahar, y'all hilarious. Mother Sahar else is in the chat also, so I will put my greetings, beloveds, there.
Peace and love to everybody in the chat. Happy Holy Degree.
Indeed, happy Holy. Let me put that also. Happy Holy Degree. So before we go any further, just to really speak on that, just what we spoke on, what a person is according to this insurance statute, right? For the state of Maryland. And every statute has its definitions, right? Because
you cut out, bro. You cut out. You said every statute has its what?
Has its definitions.
Okay.
Every statute has its definitions. So with that being said, we need to really check and see what someone is saying that you're doing or whatever. So let's see if we can find a code of Maryland fishing without a license. Because I'm even looking here, right? Like there's also, hold on, which one did we see that was talking about what was it? It was one of these joints that was talking about actual fishing regulations, right? But it was saying something about trying to remember which one it was when it was speaking about the anglers fishing. The one that said no anglers fishing, right? That's process. Let's see if I just type fish. Was it this one? Because I just kind of want to see what it was talking about of angler fishing. All right. Fishing statute, right? Fisheries, things like that. Okay, we saw that one. What was the other one? Changes. I wanted to see the other ones that we saw, right? In general. And I wanted to look at the definitions, right? That's where I was. R, right? There we go. So this is what I was looking at earlier. 2015 Maryland Code Natural Resources, Title 4. Fish and fisheries, right? So if you're near the state of, and I know because that's one of the things that, you know, even my peoples did, and me seeing them at times growing up, they definitely fish. So fish and fisheries, subtitle 1 in general, sub 4-101 definitions. So it has a few things here, right? And when you look at these definitions that are dealing with natural resources, fish and fisheries, in general definitions, all right? When you go down here, first of all, person includes the state, like, because I just brought up the other thing about insurance. And remember, policy enforcers are enforcing insurance policy. So it even says here, another place where you're seeing another code defined. All these codes have their definitions. Different statutes, different codes, all have some way, shape, or form. When you start at the beginning of the code, no matter what the title and chapter is, you should see some type of definition. Person, quote unquote, includes the state. So that means that people go to animate or use the entity. That's why people are like, oh, well, the state of Maryland versus whomever. Well, again, where did the prosecuting attorney that's saying they picked it up in the name of the state of Maryland, where did they get the delegated authority from the attorney general to say that they can take up or prosecute cases on behalf of the quote unquote substitute Bay, which is the quote unquote governor, pertaining to the state of corporation? They don't have a delegation of authority yet. Clerks are sending, after they're doing all this processing, sending to the state treasury reimbursement forms so that they can be reimbursed for what it is that they have in there. And so what is pledging the people as the collateral. So when they fill out something, you go to a court and they're saying, oh, you got a failure to appear. First of all, you were never obligated to appear. But you got a failure to appear or whatever, and now they're talking about it was for this fine that was this much, and now you owe this much. Whatever how much they're saying, they're getting that from the treasury and then saying who's going to get it back. Well, you know who's going to give it back? It's going to be this being we said that we're indicating on this citation who did not have a fisher's license. And since they didn't have a fisherman's license or some shit like that, or angler's license, angelers, right? Angler's license, then we're going to say that they're going to foot the bill of what we just sent you for. So we want to be reimbursed for this much for court fees and for that amount of that and this, and that, and that. Okay, if that's the case, then that means the people should be able to do that on behalf of these moms. Daddy, feed me, because that's what it's saying. Oh, you don't want to feed me? Then I'm going to have you. But I think that I can regulate your movement by saying how fast you can travel on any piece of asphalt or concrete. And then by that, I can have more of whatever it is that I want, because I'm robbing you vampirically through forcing you under statute, even though there's no proof that you're under contract or oath of office to be under statute in that form or fashion. Is that clear? I trust that's clear. I trust that's not hard at all.
Yeah, that is clear.
Right? So I'm just thinking like,
and I don't think it's hard to get, like, I'm studying and still learning, but I think most beings might just be scared because it's like, well, what if this, what if that? And it's like, don't even think that. Like, once you start to study things for what they are and they're not, that fear of what if becomes into this is what's going to happen. Like, that alleviates itself. So you're not like in fear. And it's like, you can't complain about the system and everything if you're not, taking the time to study or do anything different from whatever everybody else is doing. From what you have been taught, you have to step away from that. Oh, what, I got to get this license because, the white man says this and that, and they supposed to do this. And it's like, do we really want freedom, or do we want the comfortable lie of freedom, which is bureaucratized, slavery? And I yield.
Definitely bureaucratized slavery. So now with seeing that, okay, so person includes the state, any county, municipal corporation, or other political subdivision of the state. So it must be descended from the state or away from the state, right? Which means that the state has jurisdiction over it. Or any of, or an individual, receiver, trustee, guardian, executor, administrator, fiduciary, or representative of any kind, sounding just like the insurance statute subsection we just read before reading this, or any partnership, firm, association, public or private corporation. These motherfuckers is greedy. Or any other entity. Well, again, you would have to produce an oath of office that said that I'm to be, or anything that we utilize. Seven Hill Star Astrology Firm. What you guys think? That's a person under statute? Well, let me tell you here today and tonight, that is absolutely a falsity. That is a farce. No way, shape, or form. In no way, shape, or form am I involved in any niggerdom. That's all I'm saying. I'm not involved in slavery. All righty. I'm not involved where I and my brothers have an astrology firm and it's under statute and is termed a statutory person because it says firm after astrology. No, it's firm because, first of all, we affirm who we are without contradiction, being our ancient foremothers and forefathers return. That goes for the sons and mothers that are here now. And we are firm in our thinking and firm in what we've declared and made clear in our own minds, and firm in our proclamation, thus proclaiming that we are Moorish American. That doesn't mean we're above anybody. It does mean is you don't have a fucking contract with me to sit here and try to force me under statute and to act under statute and capitulate under statute. My question should be, what color noose do you want to be hung in? Pick your favorite color noose, because you must be hung for treason. I don't care how shiny your badge is. I don't care what your fucking police number is. I don't care how blue your uniform is today. I don't care how white your sergeant's shirt is. How golden me those three stripes of who the fuck he is. I don't. Because what is paramount is, why the fuck are you talking to me? Period. And no, this isn't for people that are fucking criminals. You go out there hurting people, and oh, look, I'm hearing these brothers and they from where I'm from and shit, or they sound like they from the hood. Cool, that's great and all, but this ain't for those that think they gonna get away with some slick shit. I'm telling you, it's almost like Harry Potter with this shit. It really is, because your spirit got to be all the way right for you to even comprehend the things that we're simply saying about person. It's some people that we can read this to 6 times in a row and they'll still be like, well, I am a person, but I'm not a kind of, but no. It's clear you're not a statutory person. Just like was, how I see in jurisprudence gym yesterday. You're not a statutory person. However, you already know how we do in training our minds. We making sure that we always find better synonyms or the correct term. prefer a sentient being. I'm a non-statutory obligated sentient being. And I have the right to say that. Why? Because I have free speech and press. And no one has the right to have me insecure when it comes to being secure in my person, houses, papers, and effects. You heard me say person, because a Bill of Right 4 is the people's right, the people's right, the right pertaining to the people, or the right away from the people, because it says of the people, which means the people have a fucking right that exudes from them, it radiates from them. That's why it's a right of the people, because it's so far off from them that you shouldn't even be in the sphere of breaking the threshold of trying to fucking be disrespectful to my rights. Oh, we're going to encroach upon your rights. You don't see how far extended my mind frame is about those rights? Oh, how dare you try to cross that threshold? And since there's people out there that want to cross the threshold, yes, we need to actually know how to fucking sue these people, how to do complaints, how to sue. I think that's what it is. You guys have way too many kumbaya, let's carry picket fences in the middle of the street, let's cry because we're Negro, black, colored. That's not going to work. And some people would think that saying you're Moorish American doesn't work. Well, let me tell you, that's not true, because there's more than enough beings by statute putting proclamations out about Moorish Americans. Go and research what it is for near the Illinois State Republic, when Rahm Emanuel back in December 22nd, 2011, put in House resolution from the General Assembly, Illinois General Assembly, which is the general church. So from the Illinois General Assembly, where there's no separation of church or state, because it's a general assembly, which means a general church. So Illinois State General Church, there's no separation of church and state. So they even put in their House Resolution 0689, which Rahm Emanuel presented as this proclamation to Chicago. All righty. Hey, guys, the Moorish Americans are who they say they are. Now, granted, at the jurisprudence gym, you exercise, instead of saying who you are or who you're not, how about where's the contract? Why are you even talking? What man can send it to you running me off the road? You can turn on your lights, turn on your siren a bit, run me off the road, and then ask me for sensitive private information upon which you have none. You have no clue who I am, which means you're seeking to force me in the state. Well, in the state of Maryland, you were. Well, in the state of New York, you were. Well, in the state of Florida, you can't. No, I don't know, because I didn't consent to some contract being signed where I got to read the terms and conditions. So I'm not in the state. What'd you say, bro?
That's equal to, like, when they stop you and they start asking for information, that's equal to CPS coming to your house, asking you for information. They're investigating hearsay claim. The police is investigating hearsay thoughts. In his mind, he believes that something is going on. Therefore, in that you're somebody who's subject to whatever whatever policy he's attempting to enforce, whatever policy he believes that you violated, or whatever policy he believes that you are actually under contract or agreement to operate within the bounds of, right? So when he stops you and he starts questioning you, he's investigating a hearsay claim, and then it becomes an actual claim once he writes and signs it under penalty of perjury and files it, not once he writes it, signs it, and hands it to you. I don't care what state statute they create. That's colored. That's color of law. Period. It has the appearance of law, but it's actually contrary to law, because everybody knows. Anybody who study laws knows that a case is initiated by pleading, and him writing that ticket on the side of the road is not a filed pleading. A pleading has to be filed with the court clerk, not with. You're not a clerk. That's what you should ask them when they try to hand you it. Do you think I'm a clerk for some court or something? Why are you handing me that? Don't you got to file that with the court before it becomes an official complaint, so that the judge can review it, and then the judge can say whether a summons shall issue, and then the judge can put that order in, because a summons is an order issued by the court, not a piece of paper that is also a complaint, that is also a bill of attainder, that is also a citation, that is also a ticket, that is also racketeering. Come on now. So at the end of the day, the cops shouldn't be handing you that. They should try to talk to you. They can't talk to you, gather what they can. If they feel they got something, take their ass, or they can stack up their tickets for the day, and then at the end of the day, go to the courthouse and then file all of those. And guess what? You got to prosecute all those, since you want to be a complainant times 1,000. So you go prosecute 1,000 case. Let's see. Matter of fact, that's so funny because the federal courts try to say something about, I caution plaintiff that if he continues to file frivolous and duplicative lawsuits, that he could be sanctioned or held to be or found to be a vexatious litigant. What do you call policemen who are suing hundreds of people every month? These same cops are filing complaint after complaint after complaint after complaint after complaint after complaint after complaint. A lot of these are frivolous. They're not found to be vexatious litigants. Oh, because they're not the ones litigating. Oh, because they hit you with the Heinzman sidestep, and then the city or state attorney comes in the name of the city or the state, and then now so now they're the complainant. Oh, the complainant is the state. How? The state didn't fill out any complaints. Well, the police was operating in the capacity for the state. Oh, really? The police was representing the state when they filled out the complaint? Yeah. Oh, well, then how come they're not here representing them right now in court?
Yeah. Why? Because if this guy who violated the rules of civil procedure, right, and the local rules pertaining to who can serve summons, then, like Brother R said, you can't be the complaining witness and serve summons. If you pay attention, guys, what's going to be said on a so-called site, it will, and we have seen from near the Maryland State Republic, that the ticket printed out from the mobile printer of these mobile Jehovah's Witnesses, not making any negative assertions to Jehovah's Witnesses. I love you, Grandma. I'm just saying these policy enforcers are like Jehovah's Witnesses because they're seeking to put their belief of how you're moving to them according to their policy. And they're trying to force you to act under that, force you to contract so you can contract against yourself.
And what makes it
worse, that's a Bill of Rights 5 violation. You can't be a witness against yourself. So why even stop? And that's why I say you're going to stop and pull over. You're not pulling over to confess anything. You're pulling over to help them with their emergency, especially when you know you've done nothing to have to be stopped in any way. There's nothing in your spirit that you've afforded that. Unless you have some karma from a past life you thought you escaped and now you're dealing with some other shit, then that may be on the table. Maybe.
Yeah, just to add to your wisdom, what makes it worse, apart from them trying to force their belief on you, what makes it worse is the fact that they don't even know the actual definitions of a lot of their statutes. So it's like even their belief is not rooted in, it has no basis or grounds in fact or law, because of the fact that they don't even know the definition of in the state. If they don't know, you're claiming that you're enforcing these policies, these statutes, and then you don't even know where you're allowed to enforce them. You just have a belief that you can enforce it anywhere you want, when a lot of these statutes say that it has to be in the state. So that's proof you trying to enforce that in areas that are not actually considered in the state according to statutory definition proves that you either one are incompetent, don't know these definitions, or two, you're purposely breaking the law, or you're purposely misinterpreting statutes, or you're not even misinterpreting them, you're purposely misapplying them. There's no interpretation going on because you already know what it is. Unless you don't and you're incompetent, then you shouldn't be in that position because you're a danger to yourself and others.
So now the thing, what is to be done? Do the people now look for some organization or protocol for all of their problems that they have in the world to just be handled by one organ? That's the problem. The problem is you keep allowing yourselves to be represented. If you're going to be represented, then study Prophet Noble Drew Ali so that you can recognize place amongst the affairs of men while being under the umbrella pertaining to the Moorish Divine and National Movement, which then the only thing that will convict you and make you feel obligated to get anything done is your own spirit, your own heart and mindset would be that which convicts you because you decided to put your hand to the gospel plow. And I don't mean the gospel plow like, Kirk Franklin and them. That's not the kind of gospel. No negative assertions again being made. I'm just being clear in the terminologies that I'm utilizing for the sake of us just getting across a very thought-provoking impromptu improv. And so now moving down in this code here for Title IV for fish and fisheries under natural resources for state of Maryland or Maryland State Republic, if it was to operate properly, Maryland State Republic, title fish license, which Brother R was like, well, what's the difference? Is there another kind of fish license? And Brother R's natural suspicion was spot on when they're talking about recreational fish license, which means why is there still a license? Because now you're saying that I can't have fun fishing? Is that because recreational? That's so fifth house. That's so Leonian, so sun. It's just like you're trying to control the sunshine in my life, the recreation. That's house 5, right? So R, title fish license, quote, title fish license, end quote, means a license issued by the department pertaining to natural resources, which authorizes the licensee. So now you're authorized. Now you've been charged with the authority to guide fishing parties. Hey, yo, my man, we finna throw a fishing party up over here. You know what I'm saying? Get all the fine skeezers. No, I'm joking. I'm really kidding.
Wow.
I'm just saying, go ahead.
So, wow. You need a license to eat?
I mean, that's what it's that's why I said it's something commercial. So a fishing party, you are obviously giving tickets to that party or something, I guess.
Look at the etymology of creation. After you look at the etymology of look at the etymology of recreation after you look at the etymology of recreational. And you're gonna see that they're telling you to get a license to eat. You need a license to eat fish. Your own fish that you caught. You could go to the store and you have to use their slave notes. I'm not even gonna call them debt notes. I'm gonna call them slave notes.
So you're saying look at the noun first and then go and look at the adjective?
Look at recreational.
First.
So you know. Right.
All righty. Got you. Of, away from, down from, or pertaining to recreation, used for or concerned with recreation, quote unquote, 1650s, from recreation plus the suffix al, which is al, right? In the first sense, however, related recreationally, recreational drug is attested from 1967. Recreation, however, it's a noun, and it's saying late 14th century, recreación, right? Quote, refreshment or curing of a person. Refreshment by eating.
You can't refresh yourself by eating through fishing, by way of fishing, without their license. That's what they're telling you.
That's what it sounds like to me. If you're saying a recreational fishing license, then that means that a refreshment by eating fishing license.
Exactly. And then on top of that, technically, it's the same thing. The fact that you need the slave notes to go to the store and get any type of food, they're forcing you to be a slave in order to eat. You have to somehow strive for these debt notes, these slave notes, in order to feed yourself. So technically, those are kind of like licenses. The Federal Reserve note is like a license to eat, a license to purchase. Basically, you can't purchase anything without a Federal Reserve note. That means that's technically a license to purchase, or buy, or to exchange, or to receive any type of thing, commodity or otherwise, that is quote unquote for sale. And then the fact that you can't just grab a piece of land, start building on it, and grow whatever without them intervening. It is a forced bureaucratized slavery that the people have capitulated with, that their children have grew up in, and they can't see the falsehood, so they've accepted the falsehood as truth. That's just the way it is.
Right? And it just really shows you can't. Okay, so you need a license to recover from illness, because recreation, I guess, then would be a resurrection.
Yes, it's recreation. You're recreating yourself. When you they even got the marriage license, yo. Like, come on now. It's recreation.
To refresh by physical influence after exertion.
Next
so it's like, you want to recharge yourself? You need a license to recharge. Like,
yeah. Well, I don't got a fish. I could just go buy fish at the store. Well, you still need the Federal Reserve note license, because you can't get that. You can't buy nothing from the store without the Federal Reserve note. What does that mean? That means the Federal Reserve note is your license to refresh yourself, to cure your illness, for your herbs and stuff, which are for the curing of nations.
Wowzers.
They're playing the who can gather the most. Oh, I've gathered 20,000 oranges, so I can put them in a bottle and sell them to you now. Like, well, why are you playing these hunter-gatherer games? You gathered more than me, so now because you've gathered so much, and then you need a license to gather, and then you need a license to sell what you've gathered, and then you need a license to hold what you gathered, and then you need a license to it's just a never-ending cycle of bureaucratized retardedness. The people are retarded in their mind, like they've been slowed down, right, in their thinking, to where they can't comprehend how to get out of this, so they don't even think about it. They just do what it is we know how to do. But let's complain the whole way. Like, we're just gonna be born, be slaves, and just complain about it, or don't complain but still participate all the way until you die. Like, where's the honor in that?
I mean, there can be none, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, what the people are allowing themselves to be subject to is the fact that they think someone needs to speak over them, that they think they must have their life deputized under someone else's instruction. When really, at the end of the day, all you to do is the golden rule: treat others how you want to be treated. Nobody wants to be treated like an asshole. No one wants to be treated like a fucking annoying ass being. No one wants to be treated like that. So for people to go just doing our job, then that lets me know that you're used to getting away with people not knowing that you deserve to be hung, because you're committing treason by seeking to force people into unconscionable contracting by saying that they're in the state. According to your thinking, they're in the state, policy enforcer. You're thinking, because you're taking your training and letting it run over, as if someone poured training into your cup and now it's spilling over. And now it's like you're making a fucking mess by spilling over. So whoever is pouring that shit in you is overfilling you. And now you think your jurisdiction goes beyond the fucking rim of the glass. Just because the contents aren't always staying inside of you, you're letting it fucking run its over. But you're letting it run its over into cups that don't want to be filled with your fucking jurisdiction. And you can't force people to that. You can't force people to be filled with your spirit. Don't let anyone put their spirit on you, like Brother Todd says. That's what that is, too. By not letting anyone sit there and say or speak about you or to you in a way that you should submit to their perspective. Oh, well, in the state of West Buck here, you're supposed to be traveling like this. You need to have your right index finger up your nose as you're walking down the street. And when you cross the street, you must switch to the left index finger in the left nostril. And then if you don't have the right finger when you're back on the regular sidewalk, continuing without crossing the street, that's a 555 note fine. Like, really? Are you serious? Because I don't have my finger up my nose, my right index finger up my right nostril. First of all, where's the contract that says that I consent to play your game where if I don't have my right finger in my right nostril as I'm walking on the curb, however, across the street, I must switch to my left finger in my left nostril. I just need to see where I consented to be sued this way if you see me doing what I've just described. There is no contract. Why the fuck are you talking to me?
Pull up consent.
We shouldn't talk. We're not going to talk like that outright. We'll be polite and intelligent. Do we have a contract? You know, that's the polite way of saying, why the fuck are you talking to me? I yield.
No, I was going to say pull up consent to be sued so the people can see that it is an actual thing. Consent to be sued.
Is this looking good?
No, that's dealing with like employers. I think if I'm not mistaken, like, you know, the consent to sue, you could get consent to sue by the EEOC. It's like some other, but consent to be sued. There we go. Consent to be sued. There we go. Yep.
But the legal definition,
I would.
U.S. legal.
Wait, go back real quick. I wanted to see something real fast. I seen some. I wanted to see what the Cornell one said. Consent to suit and waiver. I think let's try that one first. Yeah, they took it out.
Interesante.
Don't give a jewel away. Yeah, check the consent to be sued in the definition of the dictionary one. What does that say? Consent to be sued is an agreement. Wait, do we have an agreement?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, dude. Where's the contract? Like, it's really that simple. Especially if I know I didn't hurt someone, which means I corpus delicti. If I didn't create a corpus delicti, then what the fuck am I actually doing? That's you again, Brother Sean?
That's Brother Chi.
Oh, it's Brother Chi. Okay, Islam.
Yeah, I had to run. My apologies.
No, it's all
good,
good, bro. It's all good. Either way, like I said, we live now on YouTube, so you good, bro. You know what I mean? You live with us, actually. So where's the consenting to be sued? Because we're going in on, you know, Maryland State Republic and them talking about Title IV fisheries and things of that nature. Cool, whatever. The thing is like, all right, let's take a look at this. If someone is saying, hey, you don't have a title angler's license or a recreational fishing license, then we're saying, okay, I will accept what it is that you're saying that I should do upon proof of claim, which means, first of all, where did I consent to be fucking sued by you in this way? Where we can totally simulate legal process. You don't have to put the fucking complaint in with the clerk, and that clerk has to put it on the docket, and then it has to filed with the clerk, and then the clerk go and give it to the sheriff, and then the sheriff is supposed to tell you, hey man, this motherfucker said you was doing 55 and 54, and they want to sue you. And then that one who did that is supposed to be facing you. There isn't supposed to be some prosecutor who, by forgery and impersonation, is saying that they have delegated authority, which they do not, from the attorney general, which should be coming from the governor, saying, hey guys, attorney general, I'm going to delegate authority to you, to delegate authority to this prosecutor to represent and act out or prosecute these cases in the name of the state of, let's say, for example, Maryland, or the state of New York, or the state of Florida. You see what I'm saying? Let's just no. That's they don't have that. Let alone the policy enforcers who are writing the trifold, the triplex, like Foot Locker triplex. they got a Foot Locker triplex on this piece of paper that they're calling 1, a complaint, 2, a citation, and 3, a summons, which completely violates the summons served by whom process. The being who's saying you're doing 55 into 54 is 1, a witness, 2, he's complaining, which means 3, he can't serve the fucking summons.
Read that whole definition there.
Go ahead, go ahead, because you was reading consent to be sued.
You talking to me?
Yeah, you was reading the consent to be sued by definition.
Islam. Consent to be sued is an agreement in advance to be sued in a particular forum. For example, cognate clauses. Cognate clauses are contractual provisions, so provisions within contracts in which the debtor authorizes the entry of judgment against him/herself in a particular court in the event of his/her breach. The United States may not be sued in the absence of consent legislation. So it's like, how can you be held to an obligation that you never agreed to, unless of course we're talking about the laws of nature? Like, I didn't agree to breathe. I don't want to breathe. Like, you can't stop that. Or you can possibly do something to yourself and get evicted from your body, but other than the laws of nature, no man is bound by the institutions of his fellow man. Cruden versus Neal. Cruden versus Neal.
Hey, people, listen. I've seen a check for $500,000, and if you see they have. I want to see where it is. Where is that actual portion?
Okay, go. If you back out and just do like the Cruden versus Neal search, it should pop up in like some type of text. Let's see. Right there. Oh no. I don't know what you clicked on.
Hold on, I clicked on that. Let's just see. Is that it? Where they're
Yeah, that's it right there.
Quoting it. Every mind, because man is mind.
Wow.
Every mind is independent pertaining to all laws. There's a law. Remember I said balanced law pertaining to the zodiac, all law, right? Every mind is independent of all laws, except, here's the exception, those prescribed by nature. Hold up.
You ain't got a choice.
So at the end of the day, sir, you were fishing and you don't have a license. Where did I consent for you to even fucking talk to me?
Cruden versus Neal. That's all I'm gonna tell them from now.
Period.
As soon as they say something to me, Cruden versus Neal.
I'm like, sir, what? What are you saying? Cruden versus, you say, hold on, croutons on a salad revealed. What'd you say? Like, he is not bound by any institution formed by his fellow minds without his consent. So
I am he.
What'd you say?
And I am he. He that is not bound.
Sir, you were fishing without a license. Where did I consent that you can come and talk to me about fishing without a license?
They're gonna be like, are you so and so? Say, I am he. Okay, sir, we need to no, that's not me. But you just said that's you. No, I said I am he.
Because he is not bound.
I am he who is not bound by any institutions formed by fellow man.
Period. And the way you're acting, you're not coming off as fellow man. You're coming off as some tyrant, some despot in a group gang type situation that the first thing that comes to my mind, respectfully, you know, I'm not threatening your life, but what color noose would you like to be hung in because you're committing treason?
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to force me into a state of mind, a state away from mind, where you want me to be someone that you can enforce your statutes on, enforce your code of Maryland on. Oh, you don't have a non-title recreational fishing license, or you don't have a title fishing license. It's like, hold on, time the fuck out. First of all, I don't work for Jay-Z.
Oh, I just thought about something.
Because it says title, TIDAL, fishing license. I thought that was funny.
I was thinking about the word public. You know how, you know, we come to the comprehension that public is dealing with military. And it's so funny because, you know, like the sheriff would be the public official, but the employees under him, the cops, would be the public servants. And then people go around saying, you're a public servant, you work for me. But then when you think about it, if you're saying they're a public servant, you're calling yourself the public, like you're admitting that you're in the military, basically, like without even really knowing it. Like you're saying you're in the military and they're military servants.
Technically, when really what we are is we have a allodial title and a allodial claim by birthright, and they are a United States away from America. Because you is United States of is a that's a big ass 2-lettered word. Of is huge.
Yeah.
Fuck a spelling bee. Where's a definition bee? And of is of is off, away from, off from, descended from, pertaining to. So if it's off from America, away from America, pertaining to America, descended from America, who has the superior claim, the United States or America? I'm gonna go with America here.
Yep. And the land is named. And the land is named after the people, or the people after the land. So if America is named after the Americans and we're the true Americans, then it sounds like all the states are subjects of America and Americans. So I don't see why one would call himself a U.S. citizen instead of just being an American. And then don't say you're American and then go fill out a piece of paper saying you're a U.S. citizen.
We can see an American. What'd you say? Go ahead,
I got you. Yeah. A native pertaining to America originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races. Originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races. Originally applied to the Aboriginal copper-colored
You've
races.
officially been chopped through screw.
Flat out, bro. Because even Noah Webster, look at that face. Looks like fucking the whitewashing of Beethoven. Like, seriously.
I like the dude from that one song, USA, damn.
Yo, for real. Yo, it does almost look like Francis Scott Key a bit. It does. Francis Scott Key was a little younger in that painting, though. But yes, it does. We're not saying that all our Albion sons look alike. That's not what we're saying. We're just saying, look at this Albion son next to his, obviously, someone later is honoring him and made a website from his 1828 dictionary. And you see what American actually is. It's the natives. Even the natives are away from America. Because what that's saying is they're coming from their mother's womb. Which is the superior claim.
Descended from, right?
So they're coming from their mother's womb on the land that is termed America. We know it's a Mexican. All righty. So now, originally, applied is like petition or begging. When you fill out an application, you're begging. You're, sir, may I please have this, sir? That's what you're doing. So it was originally applied to so that means there's possibly that the Aboriginals didn't even call themselves American, technically, if we are really reading.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
You get what I'm saying?
Technically, we're speaking when we say American, that's contemporary.
Period.
That's not ancient. Although I might say that there might be a variation of the spelling of American that may be ancient,
Right.
such as Moroccan, American, a Moroccan, is American.
El Americano.
Period. And the Americanos, as Brother Chi said, is found here. If you were to lose your keys, let's just go with this one. If you were to lose your keys, right? And do you think your keys just magically grew feet and put themselves somewhere? Or do you think they may be where you may have looked them or possibly dropped them and didn't know? However, when you find them, isn't the fact that you found them is because they were already there?
Facts.
They're already there.
Facts. Yeah.
So now you got to think to yourself, who are the modern Europeans, our sons, our daughters, the pale skin? Because pale and black is the same word. So the real black people,
right?
Just be clear, the real black people, the pale skins, all right, they're not American because it is applied to descendants of your now real Europeans, the original Europeans. They look like us because we're everywhere. The various copper tone people are everywhere. Olive shades. We're everywhere on the planet. But it's this Albion that we were not supposed. We're only. Would you say, bro?
No, I'm just saying. Right. That's the difference. Albion Europeans. Right.
Exactly. That modern European has no place to go. Only thing that it can have as far as land is what's ceded to them because they are an experiment where we took our genes in the chimpanzee and now you have the Albion. Not being mean, this is the history. Believe nothing I say, go and check what was going on near Patagonia. And I'm not talking about some really expensive camping gear when I say Patagonia. Patagonia, known as Argentina now. Let's really dig in. Oh, that's what the Yakub experiments was. Some big-headed scientists, whatever. If you need the big-headed scientists and all that stuff, just look at it like this. There was our genes and the chimpanzee genes. We were traveling somewhere in the universe, and there was a need for us to have lighter bodies. Does it mean lighter by complexion or light about how heavy it is due to us traveling through what is called photon belting, right? So what is that? Oh, well, what's a photon? Well, it's obviously dealing with some type of light because it's talking about photo. Photo denotes light. So there's obviously something dealing with light placement here, where we taking our consciousness and storing it in other things like the movie Chappie. You see what I'm saying? Where we removing our consciousness and then, let's put it in this other being that's not us until we, die and come back or whatever the case for being. You see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, when we're really talking about someone stopping you from fucking fishing, and we just looked up what recreational was, right? Recreational, right? So we were going into, hold on, let's find, where did I end up in the etymon? Right? Really? Did I move forward on something and didn't recognize? Either way, I'll bring it back up. Recreational, right? Let's go to where I have God here, right? And we go back in recreational, right? And when picking that, before we even get to what is called an angler's license or whatever, right? Really seeing here is that it's telling us to look at the word recreation because al is descended from recreation. So al, al, like OF, right? Prepositional suffix. Click on recreate. Again, like Brother R pointed out, late 14th century, recreación, quote, refreshment, just refreshing yourself. You telling me I gotta have a refreshment fishing license? or curing of a person. Okay, you go to curing, you're curing yourself. Okay, all right, cool. You're recovering from something that wasn't the highest state of being. Great. You're telling me I need a license to cure myself with fishing? That's interesting. A refreshment by eating. Hold on. I need a refreshment by eating fishing license. What, do we have a contract? Where did I agree? I agree. If I want to eat fish, I must be licensed under enacting under statute under the codes of Maryland. Fuck to the no.
I would like to see them enforce that license on the sharks, the whales, the alligators, and or everything else that eats fish. I don't even know if alligators eat fish. I'm just saying they can't enforce that on anything else in nature, but they're trying to prescribe that for us when we never agreed to it. Well, a lot of people are under the presumption that they have agreed because they haven't rebutted it. But when one comes and is clearly telling you, I'm not those whom you exercise your policies upon. I do not consent. I do not consent to your private corporate policies. And they just push on. You know, you're really making this hard on yourself. You're going to get your car towed and you're going to end up in jail. Okay, now there's the threats.
You're going to lose your friends. You're going to lose your family.
And the coercion, the threat, right?
Yeah, Cruden versus Neil. So when you tell them that you're not subject to, they don't have any evidence that you are. Instead of them saying, well, I don't really can't think of any evidence that I have to actually say that you're subject to. I guess I can't move forward with this. Because instead of saying that, they say everybody in the state has to. Well, I'm not in the state. What do you mean you're not in the state? You know you're making this really hard on yourself. You're really not gonna like it. You're tracking down the wrong road there, young man.
You telling me how to do my job? You know my job better than me?
Yes.
Apparently,
yes, we do know your job better than you.
Apparently, yes.
Like emphatically, yes, we do. Like Malika's shirt says, has your sheriff read the Constitution?
Yeah, has he read it? I don't think he has.
Like motherfuckers is swearing, I swear to uphold the Constitution against any violators, foreign and domestic. And then it's like, was that just repeat after me shit that you just did?
Yeah, no, well, while he's saying it, he's like, I swear to uphold, defend, and support the Constitution. But wait, I didn't read it. Shh, just finish the line. Oh, and against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Right.
Basically.
They're making you
so go ahead, bro. My apologies.
Basically, Cruden versus Neil would basically smash my whole case for real.
I mean, bruh. I mean, I'll just keep it a band with you. Like, what really will smash it even more is the fact that, first of all, if anybody writes anyone, you or anyone, a fucking citation, and we can clearly see that shit says complaint, citation, and summons, the fact that they're violating the process rule, that's another angle to shut me down.
Serving you a summons, right? As one of the and they're one of the party.
That goes.
Go ahead.
I don't think the brother was here when we read appearance, but that goes back to appearance. Them saying, you know, if you appear, when you appear and you don't say anything about anything, you just submit to the jurisdiction. Then it is presumed that you waive any defects in service, defects in jurisdiction, right? So like if there's a defect in service, you weren't properly served, which there is. If it's a traffic ticket, there's always a defect in service because the police are the one doing it. Sometimes it's not even the police, it's a camera. It's a computer system. That's a major defect.
Flat out. I was gonna bring appearance up, bro, since you were mentioning it, so it can be seen again for the record. You know what I mean? So let us.
Man,
we're at APP. What'd you say?
I'm saying that's deep. That's just that unknown truth that the average person just has no idea about.
Flat out.
That's crazy.
Appearance. This is what Brother Ara was going over here. So when one fails to appear according to them, this is what I think is actually being said, just to add my wisdom to what it is you brought up, Brother Aura. And again, this is Henry Campbell Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, page 125, but PDF page 201 out of 1956 pages PDF, all right? So my thing is, if an appearance is an admission to being a defendant, then have no fucking defendant. But they're trying to indicate that where you appeared was them under the assumption that you've given them some documentation that says you're within their jurisdiction.
Bro, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Oh yeah, can you block that xxx20.fun in the chat in the YouTube?
Hold on, say that one more time.
They're in the chat with that BF. Yeah.
Erased one already. I know I did, man. They be coming up. Hey, want to see hot girls? Like, no. I noticed they only doing that. You know what I mean? Hold on, let me see. Let me go back. Okay, yeah, I erased it. I got you. That 69 triple X site. Yeah, we gotta go. I already reported and removed them once. I don't really play shit. I don't know what that shit. Very intelligent. Proof of claim, please. Thank you, Barry Intelligent. We appreciate you, Dan. He said, who versus Neil? Cruden versus CRUDEN versus NEALE. NEALE. That's what it says in the chat there. Cruden versus Neil.
Like who?
Yeah, so that's what it is. Yeah. No, we got you, Barry Intelligent. We hope you caught up on that now. Roz, peace to you also, right? So yeah, it technically is an abusive process. So with that being said, appearance in practice, I yield the floor to Brother Aura. If you want to go over again, I mean, Brother Chi, you can do either one. I mean, I'm gonna bring up some things for everybody to go over.
If he doesn't mind, let him do it so he can get that.
Yeah, it's up to you, bro. If you want to, you can do the appearance portion, you know what I mean, in practice. If not, we can give it to Brother Aura.
I don't mind.
Either one, don't matter.
Islam.
In
practice, a coming into court as party to a suit, whether as plaintiff or defendant, the formal proceeding by which a defendant submits himself to the jurisdiction of the court.
Right there. He submits himself to what?
Submits himself.
But first, he's got to be a defendant.
Yeah. Submits himself to the jurisdiction of the court. It goes on to say the voluntary submission. It ain't forced. I have to go to court.
Stop it. Stop it.
Voluntarily submitting.
That shit does say voluntary submission, bro. Like, what?
So I mean,
and they're trying to get you to volunteer by threat, duress, and coercion. Oh, we ran you off the road.
So is it a summons? So do they summon you to court, or is it voluntary? Like if they summon you, how's it voluntary?
The summons.
And if you don't come to court, we're gonna put out a bench warrant for your arrest.
Which is computer generated.
Which falls into my case too. Like that's why they're saying they arrested me because I didn't appear for the ticket that I didn't pay for not having a fishing license.
So
a judge is not supposed to issue orders against beings that they do not have personam jurisdiction over.
Correct. They're simulating process. So it's not really you or your situation. They have inconvenienced you, inflicted emotional distress, which is also a suable offense, and have you now thinking, are you thinking that you have to appear or these people are going to have you sitting in their correctional facility where you didn't consent to sit in their correctional facility? And that is what utilized as voluntary. Well, man, I don't want them to do this to me, so I just might as well. That's still voluntary, because to say you want to do something so that no one hurts you or does something to you and causes you more advance in your life, then you are being intimidated.
Mm-hmm.
You are being under the state of duress. Threat, duress, and coercion. Threat, they got a pistol on their hip. Duress, you was in a state of happiness in your mind. However, now they trying to immediately put you in a state of whatever so-called state of corporation. That's duress. Coercion, you were moving freely about upon your ancestral estate, but now they're trying to regulate where you move, how you move, until you give them what they are seeking to extort from you. That's why this all boils down to RICO charges, because it's bureaucratized slavery. Slavery is illegal unless you consent to it. So when they're trying to make people feel like there's a warrant and you have to show up, first of all, that warrant is computer generated. We just found that out. Like when Brother R was doing some heavy digging and got the record, it was like, well, our warrants are computer generated. Like, what, bitch? Like, that's what I was thinking in my head. Like, you serious? However, at the same time, though, like the reason, again, why it's voluntary, because you must have consented to that. Well, what if they come knocking on my door out of X, Y, and Z and this, and that, and that? Technically, they can't. So this is why we say what we practice in jurisprudence gem, an injunction to stop level activity. Put an injunction in on the federal level to stop all state activity and then countersue any and everyone who's involved. You want to do one being at the time? Well, this is Officer Bullshitsky-Dorf at the bottom of this citation / complaint / summons. Then we'll sue him first and then add people on as we go along. Well, the clerk is guilty, the judge is guilty, the prosecuting attorney is guilty, because they had no delegated authority to even hear or prosecute that fucking transportation situation. You see what I'm saying? It's the same as you made rules for your little ones and they have company coming over. And your little ones are to make sure that no their feet on the coffee table. However, as you go away and it's just your little ones in their company there, their company puts their feet on the coffee table. Your loved one goes to hit them in the head with a baseball bat because technically they didn't know they wasn't supposed to put their feet up on the coffee table. You only told your loved ones, hey, don't let the guests put their feet on the coffee table. They was just so comfortable. You made them feel so at home. They put their feet on the coffee table. They didn't know they was going to get hit with a baseball bat, nor did you give them the documentation necessary. However, you did, because you said, see right here, when you first walked in the house, there was this General Assembly record that we have in the house that shows how things are supposed to go here in the state of my parents' home. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But on top of that, if you're going to someone's house, you should know that you don't have rulership over that house. So at the end of the day, you don't even have to have an agreement. The fact that you don't have an agreement to run anything in that house proves you don't.
Correct. So with that even being, what I'm even speaking about is the loved one could have been much better in not hitting the guest baseball bat. That's a little above and beyond for reprimanding for putting feet on table. All you had to say was, hey, I know you didn't read the statutes when you came in, so what I need you to do is just take your feet off the table, because really I'm supposed to make sure that nobody put their feet on the table. My daddy told me to make sure nobody put their feet on the table. Please respect that. And then that's cool. Now, if they don't like that and they do like putting their feet on the table, well, look, you can kindly relieve yourself from the state of my parents' home. You see what I'm saying? Which in the mind works the same way. When someone in their mind goes, oh, well, you were fishing here in the state of Maryland, and now you have to do this because we have in our minds that this is the state of Maryland, because that's the hypnosis we're under. And we're so under that hypnosis that we got a Glock 40 with 17 shots on our hip, a shiny piece of metal on our chest with numbers carved in it and shit, a blue card for our private security practices, as well. We also have a uniform that's pretty in blue and shit. You like my uniform? You like our gang uniform? Like that's what it is. And so since they're under that kind of hypnosis, they think, because the people haven't spoken up to go, do we have a contract? So they think, all right, this motherfucker want to be intelligent, say we got a contract. Let's just be 10 of us go down there and say we want to pick them up, and then they'll submit to the illusion that it's many of us. So somebody must have really did something wrong, because then the observing on the outside, like, damn, why is that many police at your door for fucking fishing like that? Because they telling the fucking truth. So now they got to do everything in their will to make you feel like you've done something wrong. That is fucking hypnosis. That is some real fucking hypnosis, because they have to work so hard to make you think that you need to behave within their statutory jurisdiction. That's robbery.
And a lot of times, because we're coming out of, you know, the spells, so to speak, the hypnosis, like a lot of times they might be issuing these warrants or doing these things against you under the presumption of the minimum contact principle, where they've dealt with you before and you never rebutted anything. You've been to court, you've been to jail 10, 20 times, you never rebutted anything. But the moment you stand up and say, that's not me, this is not how I'm to be called upon, this is not my name, I am not waiving these rights, I am not consenting to this, and that, that's the moment they have to stand down. But what we're finding is that they realize that a lot of people try these things, and they notice that when they use intimidation and force, they force you back into the position, the state of mind of capitulating again. So they try to use that fear and that force to put you back under their jurisdiction, like it's like prey trying to get out of the grasp of the predator, and it's like, oh, he's trying to get away, and they try to grab you again, and and bite your head off. And right, that's basically what they're doing. But it's like Cruden versus Neal. I did not waive my consent to be sued.
Right, I'm listening, bro. Go do your thing.
Oh yeah, scroll down a little bit. I want to get to the part where it says something about, yeah, go just a little bit more to where it's like the ancient part is close to the top. All right, right there. Oh no, you passed it. Oh no, I guess we could look at right there. Appearance may be either general or special. The former is a simple and unqualified or unrestricted submission to the jurisdiction of the court. The latter, a submission to the jurisdiction for some specific purpose only, not for all the purposes of the suit. And then it goes on to say, a special appearance is for the purpose of testing the sufficiency of service or the jurisdiction of the court. A general appearance is made where the defendant waives. A general appearance is made where the defendant waives defects of service and submits to the jurisdiction.
Waives defects. The defects in service is a policy enforcer saying that they witnessed you do something in their mindset, specific state, where to their mindset, you are participating in an activity in the way that they think, according to their socially engineered hypnosis, that you are out of order with. Oh, you're out of order for for moving about the land in such a rate that we're going to say that you are speeding while driving in the state of Knoxville. Do you see how, look, you're traveling upon your ancestral, gets converted into statutory French. Mm-hmm. Statutory French of, let's check it out. I'm traveling upon my ancestral estate. I am conveying the word, because you're the word, right? Like the Bible says, you're the word with the logos. So we're conveying the word from point A to point B. Cool, that's great. Let's convey the motherfucking word. Let's do it. Not a problem. However, here's the problem. Is statutory French. That's what's statutory French? you were speeding while driving in the state of Maryland. So they've now removed you, first of all, from your free movement. You have the right to be secure in your person's houses, papers, and effects. So they're removing that by saying you're speeding. Now you're trying to control how fast that move. What kind of shit is that? What's that? No, really, I'm serious. I'm serious. You were moving at a rate that was fine for you. You didn't bring anybody any harm. But here come this, I see you, motherfucker, talking about, I see you moving at a rate that, according to my statutory way of thinking, you shouldn't be moving that fast. First of all, here's what I'm going to ask. Do we got a contract about how I agree to not move as fast as I would like, but only move within the limits of your statutory movement speed? No. Okay, cool. What's the second thing they remove? They remove you from you traveling and then try to say you're doing a commercial called driving, speeding while driving. Okay, you weren't. You were just moving about, traveling, and you were on your ancestral estate. But they're gonna try to remove ancestral estate and say you're in the state of boom fuck bill.
Even before all of that, they're removing you from freedom because they must think you're a slave to even come at you that way. Like, hold on. Period. I'm not a slave, so what do you mean I got to do this and this and that? Oh, you're assuming there's an agreement here. No, you don't have to have an agreement. Oh, so you do think I'm a slave?
Yeah, which means that now you're trying to force me to be in the state of Maryland without a contract, which means it's without consent. That says under penalties of perjury or whatever the case may be, or I solemnly swear to act under statute. You don't have that, then it is bureaucratized slavery because you're writing documents trying to indicate me, then get biometrics from me, whether it be hair, fingerprint, or elsewhere, and then trying to use that for future indications as if I'm a quote unquote corpus delicti creator, like I am a crime creator or a criminal. And most people, most of us, we're not. We're only being bureaucratically written into slavery by way of someone thinking they can make a point after witnessing you moving how you really want to move. And they go, you're not moving at the rate that I say I want you to move. Because I went to cadet school and I'm #1 bullshit policy enforcer.
And that's actual paper terrorism. Because I know at one point they try to say that people who file writs in defense of in their own defense for whatever reason, you know, is being pursued against them in whatever court. If you get the filing stuff talking about laws, Cruden versus Neal and all this stuff, they're like, oh, you're being a paper terrorist. So what is the Federal Reserve Bank being? Because they're using paper to control even other nations. They use the military force. They use the force of the military to force nations to adopt the quote unquote petrodollar in the form of Federal Reserve notes. That ain't paper terrorism. The fact that I can't get something out the grocery store without a Federal Reserve note, that ain't paper terrorism. The fact that I can't go fishing to revive myself, cure myself from illness, and refresh myself by eating without a license, which is basically a permission that's probably in writing on a piece of paper, or maybe it's written on some plastic or something, some type of plastic. So you're telling me I need these things in order to do what my creator put me on the planet to be able to do? The basic necessities of life need licenses. That's not paper terrorism.
It definitely is, because they're using their documentation to force your movement into their meeting venues about transportation, when the meeting venue has no delegated authority to hear transportation cases because there's no delegated authority from the secretary pertaining to transportation. Then the prosecutor does not have delegated authority that was filtered through the attorney general from the governor. So that's double racketeering influence and corruption organization actions. And then the third point of delegation that isn't given is your consent, your contract and oath that says you're a federal agent doing foreign commerce in a foreign trade zone on federal land. You're not doing that, but they're trying to say it's the Maryland waters. How in the fuck are these state waters? What are you talking about? Because as I check, when I go and check a metaphysical Bible dictionary, waters or rivers are dealing with thoughts. So when they're saying the waters is the state's waters, that's you thinking it's your shit. And then if that's the case, and you're saying it's the state waters, then the state deals with the seat to the state head. And who's the head of the state? When you're talking about a state of corporation, it would be the executive chief or the chief commander-in-chief or chief executive, which is the governor.
And again,
period.
At the end of the day, if you really look at the definition of people in law, of state, the state is the people, not the particular elected officials who are in some form of representative capacity. Why are they steady trying to separate the officials from the people? Oh, the state is the officials. The people are just the subjects that have to do what they're told. No, the state is the people, and the officials have to do what they're told by the state. That's why when they're even bringing a case against you, and the state is the plaintiff, they're saying that the people are bringing charge against you. Well, when did the people agree to be brought up on charges the way that they're doing? How can they be brought up on charges the way that they're doing when you think about it? That would take the consent of the people. Most of the people are stressed out by the limitations that are being put on them by the government. They didn't agree to this. If you hop on any bus in any part of any city and just spark a random conversation with the people on the bus, you can not even spark a conversation, just be on the bus. I heard someone yesterday on the bus saying, yeah, the prices of this is going up. The prices of that is going up. Yeah, man, it's crazy. Yeah, and they're not paying us more either. Yeah, if only they knew they weren't being paid at all. However, you can hear the stress in the people's voices on what this government is doing. And all while they don't realize that they're supposed to be directing them, not the other way around.
Correct. I'm trying to see, it was a Justia that I was on, right? And here, right? To continue, because you on point, bro. You on point. Title fish license, quote, title, that's what I said. Who's working for Jay-Z? Are you streaming on What the fuck? Title fish license, quote unquote, means a license, okay? Permission issued by the department. Which department are we talking about here again? Okay, the Natural Resources. Department of Natural Resources, right? Okay. Which authorizes the licensee, which means someone who volunteered to submit to the jurisdiction of the state of Maryland to guide fishing parties. Now they have a license to guide fishing parties. They got a license to ill at fishing parties. Anyway, catch fish for what? For commercial purposes. And buy, sell, process, transport, export, or otherwise deal. Like, what is this? Go fish? Like I got a deck of cards, man. You got a two of diamonds. No, go fish. Is that what they mean? Otherwise deal in fish, which were caught in the tidal waters away from Maryland, of Maryland. Really? Is that what this is? And then tidal water means below a point where the tide ebbs and flows. What? Water, but what? What? So now they're even measuring the height of the waves. These motherfuckers think they control the moon. Y'all know why I'm saying that, because the moon is why do you think people go fishing when it's more of closer to a full moon? Because that's when the tide is highest. So are you trying to tell me you're measuring how high the tide is when it's a new moon, a full moon? Like, that's crazy. Again, it boils back down to astrology. Because when you're talking tidal water, you're talking about the moon's gravitational pull on the water. What you say?
You cut out that last part.
I said, when you're talking tidal water, you're talking about the moon's gravitational pull on the water.
Of course, Islam.
That's why most people go fishing when it's closer to a full moon or on a full moon, because that's when the tide is highest. Easier to catch fish. Again, basing this said statute off of astronomy, I'd say yes. This is why we're AstroCivicians. That's why I wanted to wait, man. When I saw that earlier, I said, oh man, this is going to be interesting when we go live, babe. I'm trying to tell you, it's going to be so interesting, because to say tidal water is talking about the moon's gravitational pull on the water on Earth. You need a license to fish in water controlled by the moon's gravitational pull.
Yep, because the water is under the laws of nature.
That's why we, bro, do we got to go back to the Cruden versus Neil shit, bro? Like, I'm just saying, do we got to do it? Let me type in PDF, right? Do we got to go back to this, bro? What you just said it again. Every mind is independent of all laws except those prescribed by nature.
Right. Cruden versus Neil.
So if nature is prescribing for the tides to be a certain way, who the fuck gave you authority to regulate the water's this high when the moon pulls on it? You need a license for that. Well, fuck you. Respect.
And again, a license is just a piece of paper or plastic that says you can do something by a specific agency.
Come on, man. Like, what are we doing here?
Imagine your parents imagine your parents telling you, no, you need a license to go outside, and you can't get that license unless you go get a job and get these Federal Reserve notes and buy the license. Then you can have permission to go outside. Like, what?
I mean, did you have to have a crawler's permit when you were crawling on Big Mama floor? Did they say, when baby's moving around the living room, we need to make sure they know how to make a 3-point turn around the coffee table? Was there a crawler's license, crawler's permit? No. Was there baby's new hard bottom shoes permit? Was that? No, you don't really need one for a land conveyance. Why? Because the land conveyance is an extension of your fucking feet.
And then imagine
just like the Flintstones.
They even try to regulate bikes, talking about you can't ride on the sidewalk. You got to be in the bike lane or on the side of the street as close to the curb as you can. You got to have a light on your bike during a certain time. Like, how are you trying to regulate the bike? I'm exercising my right to travel. What are you talking about? You don't own this bike. You don't tell me what to do. Do I need a license for my microwave? Which I don't use anymore, but I'm just making an example. Do I need a license to sleep in my bed? I got to sleep on the floor until I get a license. Do I need a license to turn my TV, my PlayStation on? Do I need a license to vacuum? Why do I need a license to use a car? Oh, because you're expecting me to be using it in a commercial capacity. Well, why don't you just say you have the right to regulate commerce with regard to your internal agents? Oh, they don't want to just tell you what it is. All right. They don't teach you law in school. If everyone is supposed to know law because ignorance of the law is no excuse, then how come they don't teach you law in school? Oh, they do teach you law in school. You got to go to college. Why don't they teach you it at the elementary stage?
Oh, they're about to, because 7 Hill Star, if we have anything to deal with it, we're going to make sure that the people have what they need. That's why we're doing it even now. That's why we utilize our social media to completely share with you the corrected concepts in our, then share with you that. You don't have to adopt what we're saying in your mind. However, you know what else you don't have to? Form law, commission, bullshit written that's termed Uniform Commercial Codes, which was written by the Uniform Law Commission along with the American Law Institute, and who also Landlord Tenant Acts, which are not enacted statutes. They are adopted, which means they're not legitimate.
They're the foster statutes, like foster children are illegitimate. They call it illegitimate child because it's not the real child of the beings that adopted them. So that is illegitimate, which means it's unofficial, which means it's informal.
Period. So when people are trying to utilize, see, I know, and people, you'll be like, well, dang, man, I know y'all know it, but they really railroading people out here. They kicking people out every day. They doing ejectments and fucking evictions every day. The only reason that shit is successful is because of the fact that many people have not taken their time to do what we're doing here. And you guys know, we'll call places, we'll write them so that we're clear why people can and can't do shit. Oh, well, we gonna come pick you up because you got a warrant. No, actually, I don't have a warrant, because in order for me to have a warrant means that I actually have something that can be produced for the record that says I even consented to eventually be brought up on a warrant for a failure to appear. Saying a failure to appear means I agreed to appear somewhere prior already. I never submitted to the jurisdiction. I'm not a defendant, which is a resident. And if I'm not a resident, I'm not a resident, then why are we talking? We just get more B-roll and we just get why are we talking? We don't need to be talking. I mean, and it's gonna make you look like you everywhere. You got any questions, Brother Chi? Any questions, comments, or suggestions?
No, I'm just listening, absorbing it for real, man. You know what I mean? Trying to get it like second nature. You know what I'm saying?
It's wrong.
Getting my plan of actions, getting all my plan of actions together for how I'm gonna proceed when things come up, and as things come up, what papers I need to send in, what the conjunctions I need to make, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's like when we're clear that even if we got people say, oh, you got this citation, oh, you got this ticket, oh, you didn't to this venue. Again, the basis of them saying this is that they are assuming that you are a federal agent
with a
working. What'd you say?
With a contract or an agreement.
With a contract, an oath of office that says you're working. At the time they're writing the citation, they have to prove you were working. If you weren't working, let alone under contract or oath of office as a federal agent working inside of a federal trade zone on foreign land, like in a foreign trade zone on federal land, they have no proof of that. Everything else is a forced assumption, which forces the people into capitulating, but they'll well, you volunteered because ignorance to the law is no excuse. You should have known that we were bluffing you and seeing if you knew that we couldn't do this to you. Ha 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 ha. I have to take my wife to the Poconos on your ignorance. Ha. What? So yeah, it needs to be many of us that are in the right mind frame, the right spirit, and then hold these people accountable. Yeah, show up to council meetings. Show up to these little general assembly meetings. Show up to them. No, you're not a member of the city. You're not a member of the county or the state. You're not a member of the so-called federal anything. However, you being the people are who actually tell Jeffrey what to do. You're the fucking Fresh Prince, the people, and the public servants are fucking Jeffrey.
And a lot of times that's why they hire people who they don't even have an oath to the Constitution, and they put them in the forefront like a gatekeeper. Like, you got to talk to them. And then they go run to the supervisor, and then they come back. You have to do this. I don't have to do a motherfucking thing. You need to go get someone who took an oath to the Constitution to come tell me what you're telling me, so that I can hold them accountable when they commit treason.
Flat out. Now, we already saw that one where it talked about title, fish license, right? What'd you say there, brother?
No, I'm just saying, yeah, I'm just agreeing.
So you saw a title fish license. So now when Brother Aura had brought up earlier, he was like, so what if there's another kind of fishing license? Well, looky, Astro Cookie, Maryland Code Regulation 8217, right? Title 8, Chapter 2, Section 1, Subsection 7, right? Recreational fishing license and registration. A, non-title angler's license. They don't even mention fish. They don't even call them fishermen. They call them anglers. Do you know why? Let me say this again. What angle is it best to do fishing? What's the aspect between sun and moon? What's the best angle to do fishing? When the sun and moon is at what degree? Separation. Full moon is what?
28 degrees.
Full moon.
180.
180
degrees. That's the angle, and they're calling it. And I'm not tripping here, bro. I know it sounds like I'm being comedic in my fucking tone of voice, but I'm fucking serious, bro. And it's a little pissing me off because we gotta really know what the people are not grasping. This is astrology. This is astronomy. And people are saying when the moon is at 180-degree angle to the sun, which people know that's when you're going to do your fishing the most. They're regulating that. Are these star cops? Non-tidal, which you're still referring to the fucking gravitational pull of the moon. Like this is the people should get a little frustrated like this. Keep an intelligent tone, but get a little fire up under that. Because this your ancient foremothers and forefathers mindset for days along upon the earth land. I don't eat fish. However, for those that do, and respecting people's Bill of Right 1 and Bill of Right 4, we're supposed to make sure that people are not being forced to witness against themselves. Every time you get a license, you're violating Bill of Right 5 because you're witnessing against yourself. You're not something in order to be something.
Well, that's a federal question right there.
Period.
Here's one for you, or for them. Is being forced to participate in bureaucratized slavery in order to acquire foreign currency, in order to fraudulently convey it unto whomever, does that supersede my right to be secure in my home? Because how am I being forced to be a bureaucratized slave in order to transact, in order to live where I live at? Oh, if you don't pay your rent, you're going to get evicted. How do I pay it? By being a bureaucratized slave, a good slave, just like everyone else. And
person. Go ahead.
People don't even get it. They one of the funniest things is when people say something about when they refer to themselves as colored, or when they refer to themselves as minorities. Like, you do realize minority is the plural form of a minor, right? You do realize you're calling yourself a minor. Oh no, it's because there's less of us and more of them. In whose mind is there more of them than us? Like, I don't get that part. That's not what it means. A minority is someone who is in a minor's state of mind, someone who can't govern themselves and needs a government.
Someone to rule their minds for them, right? So here we go. Let's see what this is, right? A non-title angler's license. Man, that's just bugging me out, man, every time I see angler, bro, because it doesn't say fish. A person, there we go, a corporation, a firm, whatever, some entity, right? Not the astrology firm, because again, act under statute. A person shall be licensed, they shall have permission in accordance with That means that you have to agree to be in accordance with Natural Resources Article subsection 4-604, annotated Code of Maryland. Let's look that shit up. Fuck it. Let's look it up. I want to see it. Look up. Search the web. Let's do it. Angler's license, 4-604. So we're here, Natural Resources, 2015 Maryland Code. Natural Resources, Title 4, Fish and Fisheries. Fish Aries, do you see that? That's like Pisces and Aries right there, bro. Fish is Pisces.
The first thing I thought when you said that.
Fish Aries. Yeah, you see that? Like, bro, like, why they, you know, I'm not going to let the shit slip by.
Yeah.
If I see it, I'm going to. And if I'm wrong, like Terrence Howard character and Get Rich or Die Trying, when I'm wrong, I'm right. When I'm right, I'm right. And I'm not saying I'm right all the time. I just know I got a hunch if I'm opening my mouth about something.
Yeah, and who's above vision?
Ain't nobody above me and my mama. There's no one who supersedes me and my mother.
Because there's
I don't care how many uniforms and shiny pieces of metal in their chest they got.
or how many patches of you know, thread or fabric they have with fancy designs on them. Like,
yeah, talking about their stripes. Within your jurisdiction. Stop trying to get me to be mind fucked into your hypnosis or your hypnotic world. I don't agree with Monsters Inc. unless you're coming to make me laugh, and then I'll help you fill your quota then. Other than that, fuck screaming for you.
Yo, that's real gang shit.
Exactly. That's what I'm really getting to here, bro. Like, that's fucking horrible.
I know growing up, like, I knew some Mexican gangsters who, you know, they talk about their stripes, you know what I mean? Like in their gang. And so it's like, that's funny, military and them got stripes and stuff like that. Like, oh, that's gang shit.
Gangs in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Title 4, Fish and Fisheries. Subtitle 6, Licensing, Regulation, and Supervision. That's what you meant, who can see above. Supervision. Only thing that's above visioning is the planets. These motherfuckers really think they're He-Bears.
They think they're
Hebrew from.
They think they're Elohim. They think they're Elohim. That's why, because super means above.
Period. Supervision of fishing and fisheries in non-tidal waters, subsection 4-604, angler's license. In this section provides a fund
above vision of spirituality.
Time out. Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Yeah, because Pisces is the fish, which deals with spirituality. So when it says, if you scroll up just a little bit, it says supervision, super meaning above. Vision is the sight. So above sight of spirituality. So like what? You're above the sight of spirituality. Is that right? Of the and fish Aries, right? And spiritual Aries is self and spiritual
self
and spiritual self in non tidal waters, which is BS, because all the waters are governed by the moon. So
period.
So now you're classifying the waters as something that they're not, and saying that you're above the spirituality of self.
I'm thinking about that. Non-tidal and tidal. Tidal, I think they're referring to waters that can get a tidal, like waves in it, like a tidal water, versus like non-tidal, like lakes and ponds and stuff like that, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense what you're saying.
I think that's what it means, non-tidal and tidal. Where that, their definitions of it. That's what they're talking about.
Right. But the water's always still moving because of the moon. So the tide still rises and falls. So even though you don't see it splishing and splashing back and forth on the rocks at the lake or whatever, I guarantee if you drive a boat through that mug, or as the fishes move through that mug, that water is moving.
Right.
And the moon is still doing what it does on the waters as well.
Mm-hmm.
See that right there, Chi? I'm highlighting it on purpose.
Water below a point where the tide
ebbs and
flows.
So in other words, if the tide, according to, let's say they measuring it against some plant out Salisbury, right? And according to this wall, Salisbury Corporation, we see the tide can go 8 feet high, but for some reason it never ebbs or flows like past this point. You know what I mean? So it never goes higher than 8 feet, right? Cool. So if we're saying that, well, here in this area that we're trying to say is federally under the jurisdiction under the at the pleasure of the governor.
You cut out when you said under the. You cut out when you said under the
with the
under
water
the purview of the governor, because
Under
now
the
you're
purview.
fishing at the pleasure of the governor.
Right.
All righty. So with that being said, any water that's below this point of where the tide ebbs and flows, that's tidal water. Like, first of all, you don't control the moon.
For your speaker, whatever the great lady needs, what I'm trying to make sure she gets.
These people don't control the moon. So when they're talking tidal waters, they're talking about, we already measured it. Remember, any and everything that the people are under as far as bills, light bills, is because they put a fucking meter in between you and where the electricity is flowing from to measure, because meter is Greek for measure, to measure how much energy you're utilizing. And then they're thinking, oh, you're not reselling the shit. Because it's all about retailing. Because they can only look for a certain bill to be taken care of, their billing statement to be taken care of by corporations. The people are not supposed to be reaching in their pocket or their bank account to take care of whatever, like near the Baltimore Corporation for the BGE bill. That is a fucking
to have lights, to have electricity.
Period. And the Treasury making sure that these people have what they need. BGE says, hey, we measured this being using this much. Good for you, BGE. Now get your amount that's on that voucher, that billing statement voucher, get that amount from the Treasury. Because that's the fucking rules.
And send me where it says this has been taken care of. Thank you. We will not bother you. Thanks.
Period. Because
I need that. I need that. My gas and electric just went up because it's wintertime. That's why I'm trying to move now because the walls ain't good at the house I'm at. So when they get cold outside, just to keep the house decent, you know, the thermostat puts that shit up.
Absolutely.
So, and it was our ancient foremothers and forefathers who invented the thermostat.
Ain't that something?
Now
we
we
using
can
everything that we created to bill us on, or to charge us, or the.
No, but Drelly said they're gonna tax you to death.
I mean, and that's
They've been doing
why
it for decades already.
Say that again.
They've been doing that for decades already.
That's why we need to speak up. When we speak up and let these people know, hey, what is it? You need my autograph to say I make you credible enough to measure how much energy I use. Good.
All right.
Now, and since you measured it at this much and you put this number with a decimal point, you know, in between these numbers and shit, okay, now you're supposed to go to the Treasury and get that. But what they're expecting us to do, right? Expecting us to be able to accept their offer and then forward it to the Treasury ourselves. Because at the end of the day, who is collecting excise and taxes and stuff? Congress, right?
Right.
No, am I off?
You're spot on.
So since that's the case, who's a part of Congress? Oh, the Treasury would be a part of Congress. So Treasury, these beings using an ancient technology pertaining to our electromagnetic field, because the whole fucking planet is an electromagnetic situation happening. It's an electromagnetic event. Alrighty. So since that's the case, they want you to think that you need to reach your pocket when the whole time these people have a tariff. Because they general service agreement.
Yeah, and I bet you if we go on the street with a microphone and a camera and ask 1,000 people, we'll do a survey. What do you think about your energy tariff? Huh? What's that? Huh? None of them have even read it. So how did they agree to it? That's like taking an oath to the Constitution. You didn't read it.
They got you pledging allegiance in school. You don't have no idea what it's about. Pledges allegiance to the flag of the United States of America in school.
Don't even know what the flag is.
And the first time
Correct.
you don't want to pledge allegiance to the flag, they trying to send you home.
You get in trouble.
Right.
Let me show you the
down with
beauty
that.
in that.
You better get down
Well,
with the
exactly.
banner. You better get down with this banner.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy when the more you know, as you get older, you realize what it is. Like they had me putting my right hand over my heart to pledge allegiance to the flag, or you was gonna be in trouble. Like, huh?
How you putting the right hand over your heart like the prophet? But
Man.
Yeah, you have
Right.
to stand in guard. Speaking on two different entities. I pledge allegiance to the, check it out,
The
flag
And
of the United States of America. And who else is allegiance being pledged
to the republic for which it
for
stands.
which it stands? So check this out. That means, once again, the republic is stronger. United States away from America.
ain't even mention nothing about no democracy.
Right, if the
No.
democracy, if the D democracy don't get the fuck out of here,
They ain't even mention nothing about democracy in that whole thing.
At all, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under to call upon, under God, indivisible, which means it can't be divided. So why are they? That's why, you know, when you talk about, like, you can't scatter the prophet's flock. It's a universal prophet, and its
Crazy.
philosophy is universal. You see what I'm saying?
Let me say this one thing before I go, because I gotta go
Yeah.
get some vocals real quick.
Ideal.
This dang, I had it was on the tip of my tongue.
You talking about Pledge of Allegiance?
Yeah, man, that's just crazy as shit. As I get older, the more I think about it. This is the crazy part for me. When I know people, things are already changing. People are already waking up. But in this age of information, in the age of Aquarius, or whatever you want to call it, right? How many people have really heard the real story behind the anthem, its origins, why it was written, where it came from, why it was made into the national song? You know what I'm saying? It's like damn near public information, but they still getting people to sing it, our people to sing it at these events. Mind you, still nobody never sung the third verse live. I've been waiting for that day. Like, if you're gonna sing it, sing the whole song. If it's not a problem, sing the third verse.
They're not gonna do that.
Right. When they supposedly abolished slavery and all of that, they took the third verse out. But the reason why one of those bigots made it into the anthem was because he loved it as a poem, because it spoke about when our people first got the chance to experience war, to experience your best friend getting shot and seeing somebody's head get blown off. When our people was able to experience the horror of war, that's what the anthem was written and an inspiration of. But they got our people singing it at all of these events in today's society is mind-blowingly just a slap in the face. You don't know that I'm calling you a dog because I switched the name, but I'm really calling you a dog, and you accepting it. That's what it's like to me. Like that's
singing it. You're singing it and scrutinizing anyone who doesn't stand and do the same.
Craziness.
Like when old boy took a knee. Like
Crazy.
They made a big deal out of someone taking a knee. Like, are you serious?
Like, if you know if you be an opposing side, whether you Albion or whatever, and you knowing the real truth behind it, or not even you knowing the real truth, you know that I found out the truth behind it, and that's not why I'm standing for it. That's a problem. That's like a serious issue. That's like, you know what I mean? You know I got every right not to rock with this, but you gonna get mad and try to feel some kind of way because I don't. You know what I mean? It's like, The whole thing about the anthem still just messes with me so much to the day. Because you know, being an entertainer, I had people ask us even recently, about singing the anthem at a game or a fight or something. And I'm like, nah, I'm at the pass.
Well, since you mentioned it, Brother Chi, and I'm not to cut your wishes to add to it, and we're going to look at this because this looks like a complete version of the Star Spangled Banner. Do you want to introduce yourself to the people and tell them who you are? I wasn't going to say nothing. I'm Chief. I'm Chief from Rough Ends, the singing group Rough Ends. You know what I mean? No more shopping sprees, someone to love you, all that stuff. Someone to love you.
Right.
Right?
Been out since early 2000s. You know what I mean? All that good stuff.
Bro. No more dogmatic lies.
Can't even kick it no more.
At all. At least we got to study if we gonna kick it. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
We can't kick it, Charlie.
You gotta study to kick it.
You can't kick it with me.
Hey yo, I mean, but to keep it a whole band though, like even though that's what you do, that's even proof even more that, you know, if if what you do for resources or whatever it is you do in your life because it makes you feel great is singing, no one should be writing you anything for anything, especially when you're not contracted to do anything except sing when you choose. You see what I'm saying, bro? Like, so anything that's out there, you know what I'm saying? Under the auspices of whatever, no one can sit there and assume, hey, brother, who I would probably much rather have at my wedding reception or do some type of show or whatever, like I need to basically say you were doing something that I don't think you should be doing. So let me force you into this venue so you can help my dog get more dog food. Like, are you serious?
Right. Yeah.
Like, and that's what they're doing. But here's complete version, since you brought it up, Brother Chief. Complete version of the Star Spangled Banner, showing spelling and punctuation from Francis Scott Key's manuscript in the Maryland Historical Society collection. Now it looks like,
and it was written by Francis Scott Key. And if anybody knows his history about him, that's another whole conversation. Yeah, that's crazy, man. I went to Francis Scott Key High School. Wow. We used to have skinheads outside of our school sometime on a bus stop messing with the kids, like real skinheads, like real swastika, shaved, big Nazi boots, skinheads outside our school.
Rocking our fucking emblem. Fuck, they're not supposed to be wearing the swastika.
Rocking the swastika, right.
Yo, Osei, can you see by the dawn's early light was a proudly hailed by the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight over the ramparts, or as it say, not keeping the V away. Ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that Star-Spangled Banner. There he admits it. It's because even it's called the Star-Spangled Banner.
It's a banner.
Exactly. It's a whole song for it. This is 1812 trap music. Osei does that Star-Spangled Banner yet wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave? Question mark. That's not a statement. However, there are three more verses.
Right.
On the shore, dimly seen through the midst of the deep, where the foe's haughty host in dread silence reposes. What is that which the breeze over the towering steep, as it fitfully blows, half conceals, half discloses? Question mark. Now it catches the gleam of the morning's first beam, in full glory reflected now shines in the stream. 'Tis the Star-Spangled Banner, old long may it wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave. So again, it says, let us stake this claim and make this jurisdiction at someone else's home that's not ours. Or they could be like, well, no, he's saying that they're the home, it's their land because they're free. But no, we just read American. And when Henry Campbell, in Noah Webster's dictionary, 1828, 1828 and 1812 are only 16 years apart. Period. And this is taking place near Fort McHenry, just like south of what would be the Inner Harbor, if I'm not mistaken.
The third verse is the one, though. Get to that third verse. The third verse, the one.
And where is that band? I guess they talking about that bread. They got bands on bands. No, I'm joking. And where is that band who is vauntingly swore? Okay, so obviously is a group, a company that's vauntingly swore that the havoc, who so vauntingly, so they sworn that the havoc of the war and the battle's confusion, a home and a country should leave us no more. So in other words, they don't have no place to they keep getting kicked out. They don't have no place permanent. So this is like, no, we're staying here. We're not going in. We're not going to take it. Their blood
our
has
home will leave us no more.
Yeah, right.
Why is your home leaving you?
Period. Like, how does it do that? How does I thought you would move? You telling me homes move? Like we're home, and we just don't want you inside of me today. Going out there, we're leaving. Their blood has washed out their foul footsteps pollution. No refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. So in other words, we gonna catch you and kill you. And the Star-Spangled Banner in triumph, doth means does, wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave. He just basically said, yeah, pow, pow, pow.
No refuge. No refuge. Look, no refuge could save the hireling and the slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave.
So they're going to kill you. They're saying that they're going to kill anyone that's not with the Star-Spangled Banner movement.
To the point where they got the children standing up and putting their hands over their heart and pledging. Why would I stand for this pledge when I don't stand when the magistrate walks in the tribunal? All rise. I'm already risen.
Yeah, I'm not rising. Oh, thus be it ever when freemen shall stand between their loved home and the war's desolation. Goodness gracious. I just had an image like, hold on, man, it's my home, and y'all just sat here and had a shit fest on my ancestral estate. Blessed with victory, so blood sacrifice, because blessed means blood sacrifice. With victory and peace, may the heaven-rescued land praise the power that has, because half is has, made and preserved us a nation, which means they obviously didn't have one.
Yeah, and rescued land is a misnomer. Nobody was in need of rescuing. The land was
rescued land. I was looking at that too. Like, that's crazy.
Then, like they were saying, the people that were here before them, those founded by early European settlers, like, oh well, they don't know what to do with it. We know what to do with it. So let's just kill them off and impregnate Pocahontas, and we'll try to get the favor of her father, Powhatan, Wayne Sinnecock, because he'll scalp us. He's not fucking playing. He'll scalp us.
That's where that mindset comes from when dudes be playing the competitive game like, oh, he don't know what to do with her. He don't know what to do with that. Tear that up. You're acting like a colonist.
Period.
And pause to that. What you mean I don't know what to do with that? How you know what I'm doing with that?
Right. Right.
Flat out.
That's condescending. That's crazy.
I mean, that's what it is. Then conquer. We must when our cause it is just. What? Hold on. Then conquer. We must when our cause it is just according to who's thinking. There go that policy enforcement shit right there.
And according to who? Who is it just according to?
Exactly. And this be our motto. Quote, in God is our trust. End quote. And the Star-Spangled Banner in triumph shall wave over the land away from the free and the home away from the brave. Who's free and who's brave? You see what I'm saying? Who are they speaking about? Because remember, at the end of the day, these Albion sons and daughters exist how they do because Moors put the Albion daughters in their harem. And that's where you get the American Revolutionary War from, because the children of those sexual encounters with those Albion daughters were the ones that raised up against their fathers to have the war. And does the harems of the Moorish, of the Albion daughters, which was the harem, does it still exist? Yes. It's just now it's called the Daughters of the American Revolution, who give people at Ellis Island a D.A.R. manual for citizenship. So now the Albion, because we shouldn't have been putting dick in these motherfuckers anyway, but I mean, since you want to put dick in monkey bitches, I'm not being mean, I'm just being honest. So you can have the history and know what the fucking problem has been. The problem has been is this was supposed to only been a bridge experiment, but somebody thought it was a great idea. Shit, yo, that little pale skin bitch, fat to the motherfucker, yo, let's put him in the harem, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I'm thinking. I'm not being rude or mean. I'm putting it in a perspective where we can comprehend that we weren't the goody goods all the way either.
No.
We were being hard-headed.
Yeah. Looking at it like an import. You know what I mean? That's what it really was about. Because it was a prestige type of thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's one of them things that just got out of hand. Like a lot of stuff, for real.
We enslaved.
I got time for emotional outbursts. I got my hand raised.
I gotta get ready to go real quick. I gotta do these vocals.
Man,
brother. I'm gonna try to jump back on and catch
I'm going to the studio right after this too.
Islam.
Peace and love.
Islam, bro. Peace and love.
So, Islam, yeah. I was just gonna say this. I didn't even know this was there was 2 more paragraphs to this today. So it's strange that they only sing those first 3 parts and leave out the other 2.
Well, hold on. We only know the first paragraph normally, and the other 3 are left out.
Yeah, and they left out. Yeah, it's like, wow, why did they leave it out? Muy.
So I'm gonna send that to the group. Oh, it's saying I can't send it. Let me copy that.
I put the definition of hireling in the chat, in the Zoom chat.
Yeah, that's where I'm on my way to actually anyway. So, oh shit, I hit the wrong thing. Forgive me. Chat, right? Hireling, right? Is right there. You got hireling, one who works for hire. So,
the hireling and the slave, one who works for hire, one who works by force.
Look at that. Old English, hireling, see hire, verb, plus ling, the suffix ling, now only disparaging, quote, one who acts only for mercenary motives. Whoa. In other words, policy enforcers saying you were fishing somewhere and you don't have this license, so now you are a hireling because you've been motivated by mercenaries to put yourself within a jurisdiction that you actually don't consent to be in.
Yikes. So he's not getting away either, huh?
You see what I'm saying? So that's why you must be yourself. And when you be yourself, you can only be industrious according to your ancient foremothers and forefathers mindset, not some statutory, legislative, socially engineered mind thinking process. Fuck all that. It's a waste of time, actually. Right? So let me come on here. As I said, we weren't going to be long with it. My thing is, do you think we went in enough on what we went in on?
I think we did. We did it excellent. I didn't expect it to go this long, but I appreciate it going this long because, it all comes back full circle. We get a good range of, we touched a good range of topic, and that leads us back to the opening question, right? The title of the video. Are we to accept falsehood as truth? When you stand up and sing that anthem, what are you doing? You're accepting that falsehood as truth, huh?
Correct. I mean, that's what it's actually saying to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? Like at that point, I'm gonna put this in the chat as you're speaking, bro, because I'm gonna take some of the things that's actually in the chat and put it in there, bro, in the in our Instagram. I mean, our Zoom chat here, and I'll put it in the YouTube real quick, actually. So let me do that. Go ahead, continue your wisdom, brother. I yield.
Indeed. So, at what point are, it's like that. I was singing one of my songs the other day. It said, everybody know the world is colonized. Everybody know the more's about to rise. Everybody know they're really deep inside. The truth is waiting on the side while you live a lie. Like,
flat out.
A lot of people know that they're living a lie, but it's like they're just like under a hypnosis to keep on that hypnotized path. Like, I gotta keep going this way.
Comfortable.
Truth seekers going that way. Gotta go this way.
Mm-hmm. Which makes it super tough, super duper tough.
Yeah,
them lies feel like Snuggies to them.
Yo, because it makes them feel so comfortable. It's like, once we really see what the rules are, that's why I think this kind of happens. It's like some people are comfortable with what has been told to them. You know what I mean? So, comments are being said here in the chat. Very intelligent is saying it's easier to be a slave. And to those that don't want to exercise the
I think it's harder for me. I think it's harder for me to be a slave because it really messes me up. Like, I feel it inside, like, oh my God, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be doing this. And it's actually destroying me when I have to partake in forced bureaucratized slavery or, anything else connected to that. So it's like the best thing I can do is be detached from that and study and help others comprehend and help myself comprehend further, that I can help others comprehend much easier and at a faster rate. One might not, like, for example, the bro said he just found out about those extra 3 verses, but brother Chi Bey was able to just say that right now, and then boom, and then the bros was able to get that uploaded information. And so, like Chi Bey was saying, he was saying that it all goes back to mentality, to people's mentality, and how the people have been operating on a limited amount of information. And this is why the prophet said, in order to change the people, you must change their literature. What are they consuming? Not just, what they're reading, literature, but, media. What are they consuming visually, by ear, by eyes, by senses, by all their senses? What is being consumed? Is it hate being consumed? Is it quote unquote racism being consumed? Is it fear being consumed? Is it lies being consumed? Aren't you don't they have that saying, you are what you eat, so to speak? You could say consume. You are what you consume? That could be mentally, right? By any sense. You start to become what you're consuming, and this is where your limited capacity with regard to information is going to determine how you operate. Oh yeah, my daddy was a fisherman, and his daddy was a fisherman, and his daddy was a fisherman. So it's only right that I be a fisherman, or it's only right that you be a fisherman, Lil Johnny. And Lil Johnny's like, but I found out that I can actually use my talent on this mic and make more than a fisherman. God damn it, Johnny, you gotta be a fisherman.
Like, you gotta be like your daddy, your granddaddy. You can't do nothing else.
That's that forced limited understanding. And that's why I said people may be in a fearful state of mind, or they might be reluctant to, stand up for their rights, or to even explore this information, any part of it. However, the more that they begin to comprehend, the more empowered they're going to be. Like, oh, dang. Oh, they're not supposed to be doing that. Oh, they took an oath to not do that. Oh, I could do this. That empowers one. But remember, they're going to try to circumscribe you again by telling you, no, you got to stay within this circumscribed box. And you're like, nah, that. You know what I'm saying? I can live outside this box. And that's where the power is at. The power is in the multitudes of people thinking freely, right? And being able to exercise that which they know and become that which they know.
Islam.
Are you?
Yeah, I yield because you know my baby about to clock out too, so this is perfect. We ready to go and kick it with my loved ones as we all can kick it with our loved ones, man. I'm just really sitting here thinking like this was, first of all, it was a surprise. You know, I didn't know Brother Chi was gonna kick it with us as long as he did. Mm-hmm. That's cool, man. Shout out to Brother Chi Bey and Brother David also. You know, I know that they was just doing their thing near the London Corporation for that Halloween block party and performing with all the different R&B artists that we, you know, grew up listening to. And actually, you know, Rough Ends is still very active. So, you know, I know that they're doing another one that's coming up in May 27th, 2023 is another one. And every once in a while, just off the humble, you know, I just, you know, advertise Brother Chi, you know, anything that he and David performing as, you know, being Rough Ends. And I know a lot of people do know their music, you know, to the point where it's like, now you see that brother when he performs, he's always in his turban.
And think about this shows you, you know, where people's mind is at. It's like, we got 3 viewers, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, you know, we had a brother on here that has millions of views actually in certain videos, but it's like, it just shows you like that the people just, some people just, I guess their minds and hearts are not really there with us yet. But you know, I call upon them coming to see, you know, that we're actually here to help each other. You know what I mean?
Quote CM Bay, freedom is everybody's job.
Mm-hmm. Islam. For sure. All day.
Shoot, man. I was able to get in here today, bro. Man, I'm just sitting here like me and Brother Chi, yo. I was like, man, hold on, yo. Like, I gotta soak this in, man. Just like a sponge, man. Throw me in the tub, man. Let me soak all this up, man.
Mm-hmm. All day,
or you know what I'm saying? Just like Brother Corey, sprinkle me up, man. Sprinkle me,
sprinkle me.
Jurisprudence, active civics. Brother Corey, sprinkle me, man. Sprinkle me, man.
Hilarious, y'all. Yeah, hilarious. I mean, look,
we gotta make that remix now.
I give it to Brother Chi because he, you know, he's brave, because a lot of people, as we know, like you said, a lot of people do know who Brother Chi is. You know, like I said, the first time I ever heard any presentation pertaining to Moors that I'm listening to via Moors Heritage and History School, first presentation I ever heard, these 2 Moorish sons were interviewing Pilar. I think she called herself Pilar Day, right? And it was dealing with that whole Deion Sanders separating her and Deion Sanders or whatever, as far as that, it's none of my business either way. However, I always, from my first introduction, it's like, oh, okay, so Moorish Americans are like the people that people come to when dealing with certain things. And that's what made me really do even more study. Like, wow, when you're Moorish American, you must really need to know law and stuff, because at the end of the day, what the problem is that there is a practice out there that makes these corporate beings think they can railroad you efficiently through a piece of paper that's termed a complaint, citation, and summons all at the same time. That's the evidence of the great and awful day that's yet to come, prophesied by Prophet Noble Ali. That's why we need to enforce the Constitution, or that great and awful day is yet to come, because these people are thinking they can simulate process because of the lack of constitutional enforcement. Due to there being, what'd you say?
The lack of AstroCivics and civics.
I mean, period. The lack of AstroCivics actually, you know, pushing forward AstroCivics. And this is nice stuff. This is not Brother Aura, Brother Sean, Brother Hasan, Brother Chi, oh, we're better knowers because we've declared and proclaimed our nationality. No, what we're actually saying is party over here, ain't nothing over there. That's what we're actually saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you guys would have a much better living on the planet, not because you're capitulating by mercenary motives. Oh, well, I'm motivated by mercenaries to voluntarily submit to the jurisdiction. Nuh-uh. You don't have to be under the governor's jurisdiction, and we don't even know if the governor even gave delegated authority to the attorney general to give delegated to the prosecuting attorney on your so-called citation. These people are doing RICO actions, and you're not yet, but you should, people suing these people on a municipal level, so-called city level. Police messing with you, risk management, claim of damages. You need to make a claim. We're still waiting on one that when it, Brother Sean, you already know, man. Brother Aura. We be on the phone. That's why we did telephony field trip last Friday.
Speaking of telephony field trip, I was just thinking, and I'm not being a smart ass here. I'm just saying it would be cool for the next telephony field trip to call a more science temple or two and ask them about the law.
That would be an interesting telephony field trip, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Where can we see a compilation of the laws enacted by grand governors of the Moorish Science Temple of America?
So do we call, because there's so many temple ones out there, and we want you to know in advance, the temple is perfect because the prophet is perfect. So we would only be calling to question what we may be perceiving as maladministration. And that's no negative assertion actually being made against those that think that they run the Moorish Science Temple of America with any designation style termed INC or whatever the case may be. My thing is you guys don't sound or feel like us. Pause. I can feel people better than I can hear them. And even like from afar, it's just like, they smell like they're on some bullshit in the spirit. And I'm not saying that everyone is that thinks they're running a temple. I'm not saying that because the body is the temple and the prophet is a thought pertaining to a law. So who isn't technically a prophet? However, the one that I have, especially in the forefront pertaining to my mind, and I'm sure my brothers can speak up for themselves, I have in the forefront of my mind, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So in the forefront, in my mind's forefront, is Prophet Noble Drew Ali when it comes to this. So yeah, when I see that people are within a certain building seeking to hold minds to a certain thinking frequency, then that's where I kind of draw the line a little. It's like, I'm not saying you can't do what you're doing inside your buildings because you have the right to make law and enforce law. However, it's making it seem like it's only where you are. And then if nobody wants to be where you are, then maybe you're not really enforcing law because you're outside of the law of nature. So yeah, it would be wise to make, hey, we want a little, maybe we see if we can call early and get an interview for Friday. Maybe we can get someone that thinks they're in charge of something as far as the Moorish Science Temple of America, and then see if they talk like I'm just going, spoiler alert, I'm expecting, because in the Moorish Science Temple of America, you ain't supposed to do this, brother. And that's what I'm expecting to hear. I'm expecting to hear what I can't do in the Moorish Science Temple of America. That's what I'm expecting to hear.
No, all you have to do is lead with Act 1 and say, hey, I was doing some research on the Moorish Science Temple of America, and I see in here that there's a divine constitution and bylaws, and the Act 1 states that the grand governors are in power to make and enforce law. At which point I thought there must be a compilation of these laws. Is there a concise compilation of the laws created by the grand governors that we can take a look at at best they can say, that's a private a list or whatever. So they're not denying that it exists. They're just telling you can't see it. But I think personally, there is no list. But I could be wrong. I'm open for correction, of course, and that's the point of making the call.
Yeah, I'm looking for what's universal. So if they, because again, Prophet Noble Drew Ali is a universal prophet, and his philosophy is universal, and he just came to us more first because we need him the most. So if there's no universal compilation,
yeah, it should be. No, that's what I'm saying. The at the best they can say, they can neither deny or admit that there's a list, basically. But I'm kind of not betting because I don't bet, but I'm kind of thinking in my mind that they're not going to be able to produce. It's kind of like asking for the DOAO, the delegation of authority order. You ask for it, but you kind of don't expect them to produce it. You know what I mean?
Correct. I'm already sitting here thinking about B-roll film to post on Instagram and TikTok, bro, as far as this live is concerned. Because, man, what we do is we're getting the word out. People study. All right, we get it. We know you like to be comfortable. You like to have things a certain way. However, it's time to really start, transitioning from thinking you need to be a Federal Reserve agent, having Federal Reserve notes to exchange for that which already comes from your ancestral estate. Stop being, I'm saying like this so you can get it, stop being charged to masturbate. You're letting people write you Billy statements for masturbation. They're measuring how much energy you're using at the pleasure of yourself. And I'm not saying that you're masturbating like you're sitting there being sexual with yourself. I mean that you're at the pleasure of your own mindset. And then somebody is thinking they can put a meter on that. Oh, you like to pleasure yourself with water? You like to drink water and not be thirsty? Well, we're going to put a meter on that and give you a water billing statement. Oh, you like to use lights and heat during the wintertime? Well, we're going to put a meter on that and see how much kilowatt hours is being used, because it should be retailed if you're a company, because we're going to assume you're a company under this tariff within this electricity or energy utility cartel that we're running. So that's what's being said. We're not making it up. You can't be like, oh, those brothers deep, they be. You better look at this shit we telling y'all about. Look it up. Don't just listen to us. Just agree, yeah, that apple pie do taste good. Cut yourself a slice and eat it, and you tell us what you think. Not, them brothers said this, and that means I can just repeat and parrot what they said. You can, but make sure you show where you're getting that information from, like where we got it from, and then it's yours. Then it's you sharing the information. Period. It's not just you regurgitating what we said. And if you do, you can just do it like when we, use people's voices and just have fun by using other people's voices. Don't let them put their spirit on you. Like that's how Brother Todd sounds to me. Period. Mm-hmm. Try to prove it wrong. When you prove it right, teach your loved ones. That's it. But it's funny to me when saying it like that, because we like to have fun. Because most of the time people thinking, oh, they so deep, or they talking about reading and no. Stay up, take notes. However, is this the part where I actually bring up the divine constitution and bylaws so we can do our invocation out?
So we can ask them if they have a list of laws? No, I'm just kidding.
Yo. It's funny too, like I said, when those certain Moorish Americans, and because technically that's what we are, but when certain ones are like, Prophet Noble Drew Ali ain't braving the sun, moon, and stars, Mo. You can't be talking about that astrology and more science at the same time, Mo. That's a violation.
Remember there was a troll last Friday that was like, so are you enforcing what the prophet brought, or are you enforcing what CM Bey brought?
Yeah, they said, do you follow the prophet? You follow Prophet Noble Drew Ali or follow CM Bey? Neither. I follow neither. Which I could have just left there. But I'm pretty sure it would have been, what do you mean by that? Well, what I mean is we have two different mindsets. What I mean is there's no contract between you and I. However, I will be kind enough to answer your question, even though I'm not obligated to do so. Actually, I'm not. However, since I am in the position and spirit to make law and enforce law, I'm going to enforce law. Because that's my charge. In order to change the people, you must change their literature. So I can say neither. However, let me plant a seed for you to go and look at it. So yeah, you could be an agent and not even know it, because your thinking level at where you are continues to keep you in agency enforcing statute. You probably don't even mean it. However, your language is showing where you are in your concepts that may not have been fully corrected yet. That's what I'm saying, right?
Indeed.
Let me go and look at this chat one more again, Ski. One more again, where the chatting at? Okay, let me start. So let's see what's being said. As commanding chief of military. Okay, so very intelligent. I'm not sure who very intelligent actually is. You know, you're welcome, Mother Sahar, for the information. Damone the Great says, how deep is the rabbit hole? Are we even close? Right, just going back and looking at some of these comments there, right? Barry says that their children are always listening and comprehending the truth. Absolutely. And if we use any expletives, you think, or so-called quote unquote curse words, they were 9 times out of 10 in the spirit of being humorous, because this is impromptu improv. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I do. I know how to, you know, do what it is that I do. So all respect to the mothers and the children out there. Completely just making a point, because sometimes our people, you know, are in a mindset where they can only comprehend things if it's put in a seemingly ratchet way. And I do that comedically so that you guys can be able to accept a concept and not have it seem like it's cool over your heads. You know what I'm saying? So let's really meet you where you are by comedically using language that seems like it's out of order. However, I'm disclosing to you fully that is for comedic purposes in order for you to grasp a concept, right? We need to do a telephony field trip. Very intelligent says. Who is very intelligent? This is so hilarious. Are they going to have a working phone number? Oh shit. Yo, hey, yo, stop, yo. I was not gonna go there. Yo, hey, yo.
Stop the madness.
Yo, that's actually a funny comment in the form of a question there, very intelligent. That's funny. We gotta know what to study. Yeah, we gotta know what to study, gotta know how to move. rbbaypublications.com, guys, as always. You saw us read the 2 letters to be read in every meeting. Both books, they were snapshots of what I have in my library from Moore's Heritage History School, RB Publications. Brother Sean, they're coming in too, bro. I'm just waiting on paper. Just wanted to show you, bro. Waiting on paper and the laminator, but I got the printer, the laminator. I'm sorry, the printer, the laminator, and the laminate and the cutter. As you can see, I'm waiting on the book stapler. Alrighty, and the paper. Just wanted to show you, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let me see. I can grab the other stuff. Just be like, bro, we got it, man. Them books about to come out, man. We're gonna continue doing our own publishing. All right, just make sure. See, bro. All right. All right. So yeah, we're gonna be doing our publishing.
I think I'm gonna start writing little one page pieces, you know what I'm saying? Little certain topics, and just you know, put my scholarly writing together, and we could publish it through 7 Hill Star, maybe have a page for publications or something.
Yeah.
You know?
We got a website. We can add stuff, man. I want to start blogging. I want to start talking things about astrology, have people come in form. So I'm gonna see what we can do and add like a chat form to the website or whatever. I'm pretty sure all I gotta do is just check the options for our website. We can brainstorm it together or whatever. And then actually have something physically that we can publish when the people order the my first astrology coloring book, because this is what we all know that I'm putting together.
Bro, right before you grab that, very intelligent typed "write something for the babies," and as that was written, you was pulling that out.
Yeah, well, we do have my first astrology coloring book. I just decided maybe I'll laminate all the covers for that. However, if you want a fully laminated version, like what I mean fully laminated, because we're here in Scorpio, Sun transit Scorpio, I just leave these normally just paper usually, but I was thinking about maybe I should at least laminate the covers. But if you want your blocks laminated too, it's not going to be, I'm going to let you know now, because I hand do all of these. You don't see a paper cutter and me talking about my book stapler and having the printer and stuff. Guys, I do this by hand. I make each order by hand. So it's for just paper. Yeah, it's 30 units for that, because you get the coloring book and you get these blocks, and then I throw in 3 books for free. All righty. However, just so you can see what these blocks do, let me make sure I tuck this in right. So you can see what these blocks do or whatever. What we are allowing ourselves to do is to make sure you have that what you need for you and your loved ones so you can study astrology. And for me, I was thinking, oh, when I was little, we had little alphabet blocks with numbers on them and things of that nature or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So it's a means too to have some intelligence go on that you're practicing inside yourself also or whatever. But I take it that the ones that have the laminate around them are a lot more rigid. You see what I'm saying? But I have to fold this myself more than once. All righty. And I have to do that with each block. So you want what I call the teacher's edition, which is not just the covers laminated of each book that you receive, but a fully laminated, your Astro Aura cubes. Fully laminated, let me turn this light off here. Fully laminated Astro Aura cubes, all righty? So that you guys can have exactly what it is that you need when studying astrology. So we're already doing things for the children, as well as the books that, we're brainstorming on, and we'll just leave it at that. Shout out to Mother Rashida Bey, definitely, for the inspiration that she brought in conversation just a couple days ago, because I and Brother Sean have already made up our mind in which direction we're going, and we're including our brothers so that everybody can have a say-so in what's being written for real. You feel me? And then you just take the blocks apart, put it back, put them flat or whatever, guys. So we had the first astrology coloring book and the first astrology learning blocks that you can fold on your own via learning the origami. You know what I mean? We have, tutorial videos on that, and even the tutorial video inside the description where I even learned how to fold origami. So you can be successful in folding them as you saw. But yes, my first astrology coloring book and the Astro Aura cubes is what you're getting for 30 units. It's just that the blocks, the Astro Aura cubes won't be laminated. I may laminate the covers only though, so that when you see the coloring book, alrighty, these are things that you can go in on your own. I just figured this is something that we do need, right? And if this is backwards, forgive me. I trust that the front-facing camera is showing it the right way.
You good, bro.
All right, sweet. So you guys can actually see it has here, and the baby's coloring in that which they have here. And I think I put somewhere in the back where you can put your own notes and stuff, and you can scribble, scrabble, have a little sketch area. So that's what you're getting when you're spending 30 units. Go to 7heelstar.com and you can order that there. And then on top of that, what I'm giving you is the Adept Invoking, because that's what our publication is called, Adept Invoking. All righty. And this is not a series. This is a parallel. See, we're speaking electricity too. All right. So this is a parallel. Nationality, right? So you get a foldable. It's a 1-page but foldable. So it's 4 pages total. All righty. And this one is going to be fully laminated, of course, since it's only one. But it's going in on nationality. It's going in on, thinking, how we're viewing things. What is etymon? What is part of speech? Go to RV Bay, right? Because on everything it says, right? Research, right? Research, right? And learn about your true nationality. Where? RVBaypublications.com. All right. It's not like, hey, look at 7th Hill Star. This is just us doing our part, right? This is from the cover of me doing my first Astrology 101 workshop at House of Reawakening Minds. However, this is my notes. All right, this is some of my notes. There's some dissertations in here, and these are notes that I even cited to a certain extent. But this is showing you the average calculations of how fast the planets move. The red and the yellow won't be in your copy because this is my teacher's edition of me just having notes and stuff of looking at how fast a planet moves or something. You see what I'm saying? Oh, how fast does Mercury move? Well, Mercury moves 1 degree on average about every 5 hours, 50 minutes, 8.399 seconds. This is just things that I've put in here. So have that just in case you want to know on average how fast something moves without even really considering totally the retrograde portion, but average, even with including that in perspective, it's that also. And then finally, the third one that you get is the my astro study sheet. So like I said, I'm just waiting on a few more things. I'm waiting on paper and I'm waiting on the book stapler because I do this myself. I do my own printing, my own folding, my own stapling. All righty. This is not me publishing through Amazon and having them do it and I get a residual. This is us controlling our own free national press. Period. That's all I've been doing. All righty. So this is all my study notes, and I cite my sources, whether it comes from CM Bay or RV Bay publications. I make sure I cite my sources. And you guys can see when I actually wrote this. Hasan Ghaziel Bey, Iwa, Samail, or Hamail for Mars, right? That means it was a Tuesday, 8 degrees Gemini, 22 minutes, and the year was 1438. Is that what that say? So that should let you know what was that, 2018. Aquarius age, right? Moore's cosmological celestial longitude calculation and measurement, which is in harmony with Tuesday, May 29, 2018, Constantinian crusade claw adjustment. So I'm giving you fullness to this. So these are my notes too, my astrology notes from my first 4 years in studying. So I don't hold anything back, guys. I give you things and then give you the resources from where it came from. I don't play. I tell you where I'm using it. I even let it be known. There are some things that come from the oracle prepared by Mother Rosmaria Bey. I don't leave shit out. Gotta look at Brother Hasan. No, that's not what this is. Pardon me. Let me turn it that way. Two of my favorite pictures. Ain't me trying to be like, oh, well, look, she naked with the titties out. That's not what I'm doing. I'm saying when Mother studies, then what's in her womb study. That's masonry there. Ma, son, right? And then Prophet Noble Ali standing there in his Sharifs, Moorish fez, right? So I want you guys to be clear on what we're doing here, right? And even in the back where I got it, where you guys can take notes, I wrote notes in my section. You know, sometimes I'm curious in what languages things can be spoken. So I want to know what is the signs in English and Arabic and Latin and Tamil and Moorish Latin and Chinese, what they call Mandarin, and Hangul, what they call Korean. Yeah, I'm writing this stuff down. I don't play. And I'm showing you guys how you can use it for yourselves, right? What's the name of the planets in English and Arabic and Latin, right? And Tamil and Moorish Latin and Mandarin and Hangul. What are they? And then you'll see where other names and stuff come from that you use in English, like Jason. Jason? That's not Jason, that's Jason, right? It's Hangul. For what planet? Let's follow it back. Jason, right? Monsieur, what is that going with? What is that? Oh, descendant. Got you. So in Hangul, the descendant is Jason. Like, I mean, just little stuff, guys, that I do and utilize in my own things that we have, published here. So you guys want to start ordering. When you order, guys, I'll make sure you get exactly what is here. You get these 4 documents. However, all you're really transacting for are these, right? However, if you transact 30, you will just get these with some blocks that are not laminated. I will not laminate your blocks. All righty. If you want a teacher's edition, you're gonna have to talk to me because I'm gonna keep it a band with you with what it takes and the energy I gotta put out. It's at least 180 silver dimes. And that would be translated in lieu of lawful. Well, in lieu of lawful money, that's 180 dimes. However, the lawful money is 180 dimes. In lieu of that, it would be 180 units via CashApp at the least. And I still got something I need to catch up. So shout out to Brother Hasan, because he had given me something to do some literature that I wasn't even advertising to put out there, considering the wedding, right? So he's like, man, whenever you get to it, it's all good. So Brother Hasan sees this, man, look, I got the printer and stuff, bro. So before you know it, I'll be sending you what it is that you want as far as the ready ties. That's a special order that I got put together for real as far as ready ties for the plates. However, let's see. Law pocketbooks. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, Damone, right? Do I just go to the website? Yeah, 7hillstar.com for what I was just showing you there. You could order there, or you can DM me at 7hillstar. Like, I'm not just only reachable on 7hillstar.com. If you go to 7hillstar's Instagram, I'll give you my number so we can talk. It's actually, the number is in the profile on 7hillstar, 443-376-87. And then we can converse it. I just know that I want to get stuff printed up. And once I got stuff printed up, once the paper and the book statement get here, I'm going to have it printed up and be like, all right, yo, I got this many. Who want it? You know what I mean? This is all I got for right now until I get more supplies. You know what I mean? You guys grab it how you grab it. Then I go and grab some more materials for real. You know what I mean? Grab some more if I got to get more ink or more paper. You know what I'm saying? Like things like that. I'm going to make sure I print them up first and then show y'all, well, look, I got 2 that I decided to make 2 teachers editions and 1 or 4 or 5 that's just regular. But the teachers editions, I ain't gonna front, man. I'm gonna want at least the energy pertaining to 180 units in lieu of lawful money, because that is not an easy folding job. Like yo, I found out I had muscles I didn't know I had. You see what I'm saying? Like yeah. It's much easier to do the 31, but once I saw how rigid the blocks are, I was like, ooh, this is actually better than the paper, sort of, kind of, in my opinion. So that if anybody try to crush it, they really can't crush it because of the rigidity of the laminate. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, ooh, this works better. You know. So let's see. Does your daughter use your guides? I'm not sure who you're even speaking to. When I say Albion sons and daughters, I was actually speaking on the Albions. I mean, there's no daughters here with me. You know what I'm saying? Actually, though, on some real stuff, the children that I did help to make in past lives, you see what I'm saying? I'm really, you think I'm so out in the open? Please do. Please make sure you're learning your astrology. You know, make sure you can get more of the truth, actually. But I'm trying to think who they're speaking on. It's definitely worth obtaining. Indeed, Mother Sar, you are correct, Amundo. You know, they said, does your daughter, like, I don't know. I don't know what people's mothers allow them to do. I don't know. However, what I do know is there's Astrology Street out there. And the reason why I even made these things is because it's like, hey, you know what I'm saying? And even to my beloved mother, mistress, consort, and whichever life comes to us very soon, like, yeah, make sure, hey, there you go. There you go. Uh-oh. Like, that's how it's going for real. You know what I mean? However, any other questions, comments, and/or suggestions? I know I took a little while on that. Brother R, I saw you. I don't know if you want to do the invocation out, or I can do the invocation out, or, you know, either one, it doesn't matter. Just let me know what it is. No more questions, comments, and/or suggestions. This will be great, actually. So let me go to share screen, right? Start the broadcast. It's definitely more than just a daughter out there I helped to make, to be very honest with you. Seriously, you know what I mean? So here we go. Yeah, too cool to be embarrassed, guys. However, at the same time, that's an excellent question. I would love for their mothers to actually be sensible and do that. However, you know, sometimes people may just be comfortable with being Federal Reserve agent, right? I need to get Federal Reserve notes and be like this. Like, okay, and give the babies a chance, right?
A slave note chaser.
Slave note chasers. It's like, man, like, you know, when you're around me, right? You're working on changing that mindset so that you can be like, hold on, I need to be enforcing this. You know, however, in order to change people, you must change their literature. So we need the common people to know what we know. Because it's going to be a problem, because you got people out here that are practicing something otherwise, and whatever they're practicing is being assumed to be what needs to be enforced, when the rules are the rules. Just because one is collecting 300 units when they pass go when playing Monopoly, the fucking rules say 200. So you can't force into something that isn't consensual, period. You just can't do it. So that's why I stand how I stand in my mind. I don't move. I'm not moving. Yeah. Because when one day you wake up, find when you're next to me. Like, I'm just trying to say, yeah, I'm not moving. I'm just not moving, man. I'm not moving. Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm sticking to where I'm sticking to, especially like, oh, once I know this is the rules and this is the law. Oh no, I'm not breaking the law. I'm not about to be an accomplice to fraud because somebody feels like this is good and right. That's not what's being said. You know what I'm saying? So that's just it. All right. I guess I'm throwing the invocation out. You're welcome to you guys in the chat. Thank you for joining us. I guess this is the part where I stand, right? I stand here actually, and I extend 5 appendages on the left hand, just the index and middle appendage on the right, and facing east actually is thoroughly symbolic to going within there, guys, right? Because east is going within. So I'm facing east, all right? 5 on the left, 2 on the right, with my feet like Prophet Noble Jolly, and firmly just above the invocation. I'll turn to Moorish American prayer. And I guess it's on me, Islam.
I'll do it.
You'll do it, bro?
Islam.
All righty, I give the floor to you, Islam.
Islam, repeat after me. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of
the universe.
Father of love.
Father of
love.
Truth. Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide. And my salvation. By night. And by day. Through his holy prophet. Noble Drew Ali. Amen.
Right? Man, let's bring it back. Pardon me to the Zoom. Let me stop the screen share. Hey, what I'll probably do, really up to us, man. I know we finished the Astro Literacy Comprehension Conference. So like I said, I'm wrapping my mind around our writing projects more. So I know probably how my mornings are going to go differently. However, after I close out this Zoom, we can get back on just briefly, bro. I can chat real quick. But like I said, I'm going to kick it with the loved ones.
I got to yield. I got a session, and then I got to charge this phone a little bit before I leave.
Well, indeed. Well, I guess we all can all reconvene in the morning. All right, next day. And that'll be great. Then, you know, I open the Zoom up early, right? As soon as I get up and just open it. All right, so with that being said, then I'm going to say to all my beloved brothers in whom I'm all pleased, thank you, Brother R. Bey. As always, thank you, Brother Sean, Alim L. Again, shout out to who joined us specially today. Let me lift this up just a little bit. Who joined us specially today. our beloved brother and whom we're well pleased, Brother Chi Bey, who is a singer-songwriter for the group Rough Ends. Shout out to him and Brother David. All righty, so just wanted to say thank you all for joining us. Shout out to Brother Corey Bey, all righty, for being a super awesome Exalted Cyclops.
Cyclops.
Right? Exalted Cyclops. And shout out to our beloved brother whom we're well pleased, Brother Terrell Tamari Bey with the sauce. Right? So with that being said, guys, we are going to yield the floor. You'll probably see me in the morning on Instagram, guys, early in the morning. I'll think of a report that I'm going to do tonight. However, I'm going to yield here and say my namaste, namaste, namaste. Islam, Islam, Islam. Peace out.
Peace and love.